we wait for the brothers to come in the building. This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a real nice one. This is gonna be a real nice. I'm looking forward to this one. But in the meantime,
Mr. Just the Facts.
You know what we need in the building? We need
Mr. Just the Facts.
That's what we need in the building, everybody. You know what we need? Hey, y'all know what we need in the building. Let me tell you what we need in the building.
You slow, peace. Greetings to you all.
That's what we need.
Mr. Just the Facts.
About that time, y'all. We need Mr. Just the Facts in the building.
Mr. Just the Facts. You slow, peace. Greetings to you all.
We need to get busy, family. Come on, Albert. Where you at, big brother? Where you at?
You slow, peace. Greetings to you all.
Tell them, Albert, they don't hear you. They don't hear you. Bro, I'm gonna make you popular again. You know what I mean? You took a few beatings on that other network, but I'm gonna make you popular again. Y'all gonna start liking Albert again. Listen.
You slow, peace. Greetings to you all, Mr. Just the Fact.
Listen, I'm gonna make Albert popular again, and y'all ain't gonna not stop.
Mr. Just the Fact. You slow, peace. Greetings to you all.
Listen. Albert's stock went down. I don't know what happened. I remember one time Albert was here, there, and everywhere. Let me hold up 1 second. What? I'm getting Garfield. Hold up. I'll send it again. Now, I don't know what happened. Now, listen. What had happened was, I was a great guy. No, he's not a great guy. You know who he is? This is who he is.
Mr. Just the Facts.
I was not a great guy. You stop that. You know who I is?
Mr. Just the Facts.
All right now. Yeah. See, Root Words know he fell off. He used to be anywhere and everywhere. You know what I mean? He's not a great guy. You know who he is?
Mr. Just the Facts.
We're going to make him popular again. Me and Root Words single-handedly is going to make him popular again so he won't be so angry. He gets so angry at Moorish Americans. I don't understand. He gets so angry at Moorish Americans. I'll get it. But we're going to help him out.
You slow, peace. Greetings to you all.
So let me get the link to my brother. Let me stop messing around. Let me get the link to y'all gotta forgive me. Y'all gotta forgive me. Sometimes I just be having fun, okay? Sometimes I just have fun. You know? I can't do nothing. My son used to do that. Man, I can't do nothing. I'd be like, boy, don't be aiming me. Aim, daddy. Can't do nothing. Y'all always make me feel bad for playing, man. Let me send this thing to Garfield real quick. How everybody doing? Can I get a thumbs up? From everybody real quick while I make sure Garfield Reid get this link. We ain't gonna let him escape. We cannot let him escape. You know what I mean? He might be trying to, but we're not gonna let him escape. So let me make sure I get this link to Garfield real quick. Because he's going to tell me, you know what he told me? He said, look here. He said to me, let me see. I'm going to copy it. There. I'm going to send it to his phone. Peace.
Hey, peace, bro. Listen, make sure when you're emailing it, it's to Garfield Reid.
I'm about to send it to your phone. I'm going to send it to your phone, all right? And then you swing it to yourself.
Damn, I can't do that.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do it. Hold up. Okay.
When you call me, though, it was good a while ago. When you call me, I just missed the call. You could try that again. And see what something wrong with my computer, man.
All right, I'm gonna email it to you one more time. Don't try to run now, brother. We're not gonna let you run. You know what I mean? Cause listen, you know who I got waiting for you? Listen to this.
You slow, peace. Greetings to
You see, I got him on standby. I'm gonna email it to you. You know what? Guess who else I got for you?
Mr. Just the Facts.
Hey, bro. So look, I'm going to try to email it to you. I'm going to send it to your phone. I'm going to try to email it to you. I'm going to send a pigeon. I'm going to do everything I can. Give me a second. All right. So, family, Garfield having an issue right now with getting the email, but he's not going to do this to us. He's not going to do this to us. So give me a second, family. Work with me. You know, work with me. Hey, let me call Abba up. We get an intermission with Lord Abba. Hey, we get an intermission. Lord Abba, come on through, bro. You got my number. Abba, call me up, bro. I know you watching. You don't like to comment and stuff because you think we at odds. We not at odds. Call up, Abba. Call up. We want Abba to call up while we waiting. Now, that's right. I said it. Call up. Let me compose one real quick to Mr. What his name? Reid. His name is Reid. Garfield Reid. I'm about to get him right now. Hold on. Garfield A. Reid at Gmail. Then I'm gonna give y'all his email. Y'all email him. He might got a lot of good stuff for you. I know Garfield. He sell good products. I heard. I ain't buy that. I just heard. I ain't buy that. I just heard. I heard it through the grapevine. All right. I'll make sure I get it right. Garfield Reid at gmail.com. All right. I got it right. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm gonna copy the link and I'm gonna send it. Okay, here we go. Done deal. Oh. It's coming, Garfield. You're gonna have to check it in a minute. Hold up. Garfield haven't said he got a problem getting the link, but it's on the way. I'm gonna send it to his phone. I'm gonna send it to the link. Let me put in link. He ain't gonna get away from this because Garfield like talk stuff now. But anyway. So anyway, how the family been doing? Anyway, while we waiting on Garfield, how the family been doing? So listen, this is going to be a beautiful presentation. It's actually going to be more of a discussion, but we're going to regulate this discussion. You know, let me first and foremost rise, giving praise to the great God of the universe, Allah. I give honor to his noble, illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to each and every one of you. I give honor to everything pertaining to Moorish and everybody who's doing their part to uplift our people, regardless of what you subscribe to or what you say you believe in. It don't matter what you believe in sometimes. Sometimes it matters what your efforts are all about. You see, it matters what your efforts are all about. Sometimes, you know, because belief in what a man think is true. Fruition is man himself. He's the truth. Yeah, man. Divine L, how you doing, brother? I'm sorry, my apology. I didn't call you back, brother. But we're going to wait. But while we waiting, I want to share something with y'all real quick. I'm going to share something with y'all real quick. So coming up on Wednesday, family, I have a show coming up on Wednesday, right? Uh-oh. Hold up. Here we go. Hold up. I got to do this right.
Oh, we live. Can you hear me?
We live, brother.
Can you hear me clearly?
Brother, I can hear you clear. Uh-oh.
Mr. Just the Facts.
Yo, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
Greetings to
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm doing the Matrix.
Anyway, family, let's get this started. So listen, family, welcome to another edition of Moorish World TV. I am your esteemed host, Brother Tahaka Bey. I've been waiting patiently to bring the brothers in so we can get straight to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have, if it's good with them, this is really freestyle, but I'm going to keep my mouth out of it because in honor of Brother Garfield say I am too passionate about Moorish Science Temple of America and the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So he declined to come on the show. And so I promise him that I will not interrupt. I will not say a word. I will only measure things by the time clock, and I will keep my mouth out of it. And that's it. I won't say anything. I will allow them to ask each other questions, and I won't say anything because I don't want people to think that I am going to be a biased host or a biased moderator as I was previously. Because Chief X got me mad. I think he was high or something. I don't know. He was just talking crazy. And I just got worked up. He's not a scholar. And it bothered me. And I apologize, Chief X and the Chief X people. But I won't do that again. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Hey, Garfield, do you want to leave now? Do you want to leave now? There you go. Hey, bro, Brother Garfield, do you know what this means compared to that Adidas hat you got on? Do you know what this means? Garfield, do you know what you got yourself into?
You know what it means? You know what it means, Taharka?
I want you
to tell you what it means. Let me tell you what it means. It means light work. I'm here eating pineapples, bro, and cantaloupe.
I want you
light work.
I want you to call Brother Reggie up real quick. Do you got his number? Do you know Reggie? Reggie haven't been on that platform since he took that beating. He came a few times.
Hold on. Let's pass Reggie, man. Let's not bring Reggie up. Let's leave Reggie alone, man. And Sharif know Reggie gave him some work too. It was a balanced debate.
No, listen. It
was a balanced debate. But we're not here to talk about Reggie though.
Okay, no, hold up, Garfield.
Because now you're getting emotional, man. You know I gotta ask you that question, right? What's the question I gotta ask you?
Go ahead, Garfield.
Did you take your meds today, brother?
No, I didn't. But listen,
damn.
Before we get started, bro, that was an imbalanced slaughter, and I don't care what nobody say. And that's not because I know Sharif.
Actually, on the record, I did say that Sharif won the debate, but when I watched it over, I kind of got what Reggie was trying to do, and I think what Reggie did went over a lot of people's head. He actually did great work if you watch it and analyze. You see, I'm like this, bro. You remember when Seti debated Nazi? Who you think won that debate?
Oh, Nazi.
All right. Now, when you fact check them, Nazi was like lost the debate when you fact check it. Okay. But based on theatrics and at the time of the debate, he won. Sharif is more animated than Reggie. Yes or no?
Man, Sharif is a sniper.
Hold on. Is Sharif more animated than Reggie? Yes or no?
No, he's more charismatic.
Charismatic, you mean charismatic?
I'm animated. He's charismatic.
But
there's a difference.
You tell me Sharif was stiff the whole time?
No, he's charismatic. He's smooth.
He's charismatic, but he was actually more animated than Reggie. Reggie's not an animated type of individual. On the way, but last point on Reggie. If Reggie was more animated, people would feel the information more. That's all that was, man. People don't like scholarship. They like entertainment. That's why Nazi won. I'm not saying that Sharif was an entertainer, because I don't think he is.
He's charismatic, but he's punctual. He's a sniper, and he's going to snipe you tonight.
So you throwing words at me, saying he's punctual. You trying to throw your words at me already? Damn, man.
I'm glad. But listen. I'll say this, and then we'll get straight into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of my critiques about your brother and your friend, my brother and my friend, Lord Abba. One of my critiques is about Lord Abba. It's not that he doesn't know the information, but his delivery of the information is just off base, and then he begins to lose himself. He's not a presenter. So you claim to be a presenter. I know Brother Sharif is a presenter. So here we go. Today we're going to talk about what are the true origins of so-called, or you want to be an African-American, fine with me, but I got it in quotation, African-Americans, the so-called black people. What are the true origins? And now, the reason why you are good for this conversation, Brother Garfield, because you have made many comments, as it relates to we not being from the land of Moab. We can't be all of Moorish descent or of Moorish this. You said, and you know what I do like that you said that we could be Moorish American, but we all can't be Moors. I get that concept. However, this is where we're at today. So for you first, we know where we at. We don't need no introduction. Everybody know who we are.
So why I gotta go first?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Okay. No. Let's do it this way. And by the way, I'm on a time restraint, by the way.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't want to cancel, but I had to come and at least be here for at least a few good minutes, good dialogue. So
what mean good minutes? How much time you got?
Let's just build. Hold on a second. Let's just sit on a second. Let me see what this text says.
Position. You know our position. And on the phone today, you told me your position. So you need to state your position, and then you have to try to prove your position. You see, because one thing the Moors, see, we understand this. One thing, man, I learned from Brother Sharif. I'm telling you, and I'm big up in my brother. One thing I learned from him that he demonstrated that a lot of Moors failed to demonstrate. Honor to them for stepping up to the plate, Abba and all those Moors, Aleem, whomever. But one thing they allowed themselves to be is interrogated. If you notice, every time a Moor was up against somebody before Brother Sharif, they allowed themselves to be interrogated.
All right.
So now you have to.
Let me say something to the audience real quickly before we even move forward. The premise of this conversation is Garfield versus Sharif BEY. What is the true origin of African Americans? For those who see the verses, that's just to pull y'all in. The bottom line is there's nothing I'm going to say tonight that Brother Sharif's going to disagree with. And the reason is we got to understand whenever we use the terms Moor or Moorish, I respect the fact that there's a Moorish organization in America. All right. Which is to me, a Moorish American is something that's based off of what Noble Drew Ali teaches. Now, as far as descendants coming from Moab, or we are Moors per se, we first and foremost have to define what a Moor is. And when we look at Leo Africanus' work, when we look at even Strabo mentioned in Maury, or anybody, or Procopius in the 6th century, or anybody defining who a Moor is, we got to see what is a Moor and how do you define Moor. So my first thing is to have a clarification.
Before you go on to that, you have to let us know what your position, the alternative of what our true origin is.
Okay. First and foremost, by name. Now, first and foremost, by name is a very difficult task. I cannot classify every single person in America. I mean, we have over 45 million people who claim to be African Americans, whether they're Moors, Hebrew Israelites, Baptist Christians, which is the majority of people in Black America. We cannot say we're every single person from. What we can do, though, and I will demonstrate this right now, is basically say we have an idea of where we came from when we came over on the slave ships.
Okay,
now,
let's start the climb back because you already going. So is it safe to say you want to stop the time? We'll give you 10, and then we'll give Brother Sharif 10.
All right, beautiful. All right, let's go to this website. This is a Whitney plantation.
All right, hold up. One second, brother. Let me get the time right, brother. You be moving real fast. Let me get the time right up on Google because I don't want nobody accusing me of nothing. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna get the time right. And so since you don't have a lot of time, we'll do it with 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 10. 1 second. All right, here we go, family. And I'm gonna put the time stop clock on my screen. Now,
And first and foremost, let me say this. Because we're having a conversation where I am not a believer in the Moorish Science Temple teachings, we shouldn't have a conversation that says Prophet Noble Drew Ali says, because I don't believe anything Prophet Noble Drew Ali says. I don't believe a word. What I do, what I will accept, if Prophet Noble Drew Ali says something and you can correlate it historically, then you could say this is what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. Based on these facts, we see that he was correct. Because I don't believe a word, and that's not being disrespectful or condescending. I don't believe a word Prophet Noble Drew Ali says unless you have archaeology, anthropology, linguistics, genetics, or history to back it up.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
So here we go. Your 10 minutes start now to prove who we truly are.
Am I being shared properly? Am I being shared properly? All right.
Go.
All right, cool. All right. So let's go to this website here. It's called the WhitneyPlantation.com, and they're talking about the Atlantic slave trade, right? Basically what it is, they're saying over 400 years, there's a time period where folks were traveled from all over the world, right? And what they documented is the regions where the slaves, what we can actually prove where the slaves came from. So as a result of the slave trade, 5 times as many Africans arrived in the Americas than Europeans. Slaves were needed on plantations and in mining. The majority was shipped to Brazil, the Caribbean, and the Spanish Empire. According to the figures published by Hugh Thomas, around 13 million Africans were deported, among whom 11 million arrived alive in the Americas. Less than 5% traveled to the North American states, formerly held by the British. Senegambia, the Slave Coast, Bight of Biafra exported each approximately 50.4. But for those who are watching, you could clip this, look at this. This is WhitneyPlantation.com, the Atlantic slave trade. So the 13 million, they pretty much document where everybody comes from. So now the reason why I said earlier, where did African Americans come from? It's actually documented. They did the work. So for somebody to say that there are Moors and so forth within these African nations as slaves, you're going to have to prove how you define what a Moor is. Because if you look at what let me bring this up right now. This is a book by hold on, where's this book at? Hold on a second here. All right, you know what, before I even show that, let me just go back to this real quickly here. This is basically the slave trade, where they come from, which countries took them. So if you look at Portugal, you see Portugal did the most trips, 30,000 starting from 1444. And you look at all the statistics that show where everybody came from, you could tell where the slaves come from. So what I'm saying to folks is, these people had culture. These people had religion. They had their folkways, their mores, their norms. So for us to say that majority of them were Moors, I don't know where that is coming from. All right. As far as the slaves and what they did, which plantation they came from, it's well documented. All right. Let me see what else I need to touch on as far as this. All right, we don't need to touch on that anymore. What I'm going to do is look at this page here, and this is what I'm going to show you guys. The origins of the 388,359 slaves shipped directly from Africa to North America. Figures from Dr. David Eltis from the slave trade website, and it shows again where exactly the people came from, where they came from. Again, if you're saying that all these people, or the majority of them, are Moors, you're gonna have to show me the culture and how they brought the culture here. Now, I'm not saying that anybody who came to North America weren't Muslims, because that's pretty much documented by the hold on a second here. Not this one here. Let me get off of that. Let me see if I could find it here. All right, it don't matter. All right, so pretty much these are the Africans where they came from. They had their cultures. We can point out where they worship their gods, where they practice traditions. We had slave rebellions, 1712 in New York and in Jamaica, and both people were doing the same rituals that the Akan people from Ghana were doing, showing that they were from the same exact culture. So we have that reminiscing over all the rebellions and different time periods, how we could show where these Africans, where they came from. Now, as far as DNA now, which a lot of my Moorish brothers might not be familiar with, most of the people in African American African Americans have a majority of E1B1A, which is primarily in West Africa. If these people, if you're trying to say they are Moors as far as a location, and I don't know if you guys believe they come from Morocco, or you're trying to say they from Morocco or North Africa and so forth. I'm not into that dialogue because it makes absolute no sense. Because if I gave Sharif a DNA right now, or my brother Taharka, it would come up probably west to West Central Africa, which is where most African Americans come from. As you can see on the chart, Senegambia, which is where most of the slaves come from. How much time I got left, brother?
Oh, you good. You got 4 minutes. You only 4 minutes in, so you got 5 more minutes.
All right, cool. So if you look at these charts, ladies and gentlemen, you will see the origins of where the people came from. So what, for you to claim that these, if you, somebody saying something?
Are you good?
All right, cool. So this is where the slaves came from. So if you look at the numbers, you'll see even in Madagascar, Mozambique, where these people Moors, would you consider them Moors? Are you considering them Moors because they're Muslims? Are you considering them Moors because they're crypto Jews? Are you considering what are you defining this by? How are you defining this? So what I'm going to do right now is go to a writer. Hold on, let me see if I could find it right now on my screen. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see if I could find it. If I could find it. All right, here we go. Let me find this. Let me just go to the actual book that's on my computer. All right, this is Leo Africanus. Leo Africanus wrote around the 1500s, and he was describing, and what he would do is describe what these people and how you'd look at them. And one of the ways he described them, if you look at this, the Moors, he talked about the Moors being some people that were in Africa, right? Abyssinians, the Egyptians, the Arabians, and the Africans are Moors, properly so-called, which last are of two kinds, namely white or tawny Moors and Negroes and black Moors. Now, he's making a distinction between the Moors that are around at that time period, of all which nations, some are Gentiles which worship idols. So you have a situation, even if you see the term Moor, who decides if it's a white or a tawny Moor or a Negro or a black Moor? But the point that I'm trying to make is, if you're defining a Moor, let's go back to the Maori or Moors were the Berbers. The Spanish term of Al-Arabis is indifferently applied to them, and the Arabs Maori is the more common appellation. Now let's go back to one more thing with the definition real quickly here. Let's go to I don't really want to use wiki. I mean, I actually have the sources, but it doesn't matter. The term Moors refers primarily to the Muslim inhabitants of the Maghreb, the Iberian Peninsula, Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, and Malta during the Middle Ages. The Moors initially were the indigenous Maghrebine Berbers. Remember this. The Moors initially were the indigenous Maghrebine Berbers. The name was later also applied to Arabs. Moors are not a distinct or a self-defined people. Now, this is key. Again, let me repeat it. Moors are not a distinct or a self-defined people, and the 1911 Encyclopedia Britannica observed that the term Moors has no real ethnological value. So we can't say Moor is like a race. You can't say that. It's because there's different meanings to the term Moor. Europeans of the Middle Ages and the early modern period variously applied the name to Arabs, North African Berbers, and Muslim Europeans. So hold up. These Muslim Europeans, who probably were converts or even the original Arabs or original Muslims or whatever they were also called. It also was a derogatory term also used. It was also used in a derogatory manner. So when you say Maori is back in the 300 BC or 300 AD or whatever, it doesn't have the same meaning as when it was being used by under the Muslim regime. It's not the same thing. So for those who are watching, just Google Moors and just read the Wikipedia article. And these sources, I have all of them. I just don't have the time to actually dig up the books right now. I don't have this book, but I do have Richard Fletcher. Richard Fletcher is actually right here. His book is right here. I don't have the time to dig through it. If anybody's interested, I do have the books to classify. You see, Moorish Spain. I do have the Richard Fletcher's book, but I don't really have time to go through each source and show whatever. But I do have the sources. I do have what's his name? What's this guy's name right here? What's his name? Leo Africanus' work from 1526. That's what I was reading from right here. So you'll see that the term Moor. So for you to say African Americans is this, you're going to have to find. Oh, let me just read this part right here. The term has also been used in Europe in a broader, somewhat derogatory sense to refer to Muslims in general. So now, as far as African Americans, let me tell you who I think they are. Let me just say who they are right now. Let me just put this on right now. Let me just say who they are. Let me see if I could find this right here real quickly here. Let me just say who they are. Hold on a second. Let me just go through this file right here.
And I'm gonna extend you to 2 minutes so we can hear what you say, who we are, because that's very important for this conversation.
Hold on 1 second here. Let me see if this is it right here. Slavery. Hold on a second here. All right, here we go. You know what? No, that's not even it. But let me just hold on right here. Let me go through this real quick. How many seconds I got left?
You're good. I'm gonna let you substantiate who we are though before Sharif go.
Okay. Yeah. So pretty much.
He'll have that same.
Yeah, pretty much what we are is we are basically from West and Central Africa. And if you do the genetics, you will see that we have this is pretty much a map. If you go on the Brother Garfield channel, this is the map that you see. This is where we're primarily from. And when you do the DNA, we primarily have like between 12 to 15% European in us, and we'll have like 0.8% Native American. But pretty much most of us have 78 to 80% Central or West African. That's where we're from. That's what we came from. We didn't come from anywhere else. This is where they took us from the shores, whether from the Windward Coast, the Ivory Coast, the Gold Coast, the Slave Coast. It doesn't matter what you want to say. This is where African Americans come from. All right. So I'll leave it there for now, and we could go into something else later on. All right.
All right. So with that being said, we have our brother Sharif ANAEL BEY.
Let me stop sharing. Hold on. Let me stop sharing.
You went 11:25, and brother Sharif will have the equal 11:25. Are you ready, brother Sharif? I can't hear you. Let me see. Let me stop sharing for a second. One second. Let me make sure I get you. Sharif, brother Sharif, your mic is muted. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm going to tell you in a second, your time is going to start. Let me reset it. Your time starts now.
Islam, first of all, I want to first rise and give praise to Allah, Almighty, Eternal, and Incomprehensible. I want to give honor to his prophets, the last prophet in these days and times, Prophet Noble Drali, Savior of humanity, love made manifest. I want to give honor to the Moorish side and Symbol of America, all past and present leadership of the Moorish side and Symbol of America. I want to give a special honor to my comrades and brothers in arms at Ali's Men. I want to give an honor to Moorish World TV. All the listeners, I want to give honor to my esteemed guest and brother Garfield Reid. I want to give honors to my brother Tahaka Bey, Islam.
Stop.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, first I want to say I'm thankful for the opportunity. It's been a minute, right? It's been a minute. What I'd first like to say to my opponent, my good brother, that saying where we are from is not the same as saying who we are. Let's start with that. All right. The topic is basically the origin of the true origin of the so-called African American, not the point of location he came from. Two different things. All right, well, let's get to it. A couple things I want to deal with first. Brother said we don't know much about DNA. I don't know much about DNA. Let me see if I can share the screen real quick. But this is to address the brother's position on, hold on, all of us coming here via slave ship. Can everybody see my screen?
Nah, yeah.
Can you see the screen? Yes, no, yes.
1 second, bro. Yeah, I can see. Yep.
All right. This is a DNA study done by Dr. Clyde Winters, published in 2015. And it's the HLA B35 in Mexican, Amerindians, and African populations. Here's the abstract. Spanish found numerous black communities in Mexico when they reached America in 1492. In addition, archaeologists found skeletons of sub-Saharan Africans at many ancient Mexican sites. Ancient, that is. The existence of the HLA B35 among SSA and Mongoloid Native Americans occurs in high frequencies. This suggests that this pattern of shared HLA among these populations is the result of ancient pre-Columbian contact and not the Atlantic slave trade. That lays that to rest. All right. We're not sharing anymore? All right, cool. Next thing I'm bringing up. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, praise the Lord. All right. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. One of the issues that we're dealing with here, especially with my brother's presentation, sadly and unfortunately, is we're dealing with victims of European psychology. In other words, when someone else describes or circumscribes your scope of thinking, you can't see outside the box. So, let me share this. Please stand by. Screen share. All right. Can you see this? Can you see the slide?
No, we can't see it.
Can't see it? Hold tight. Make sure I'm sharing. Oh, hold on. There we go. Can you see the slide?
Yep, see it.
Yeah, y'all remember this, right? You remember. Charles Seligman, this guy right here is one of Reggie's bosses, unfortunately, and sadly, according to the words of my brother, Garfield Reid is his boss too. Charles Seligman is one of the major European Orientalists responsible for the idea that all of us in America came from a small area in West Africa, or just confined to West Africans, or confined to sub-Saharan Africans. He came up with that. He forwarded what's called the Hamitic hypothesis, which basically was the Europeans' way of trying to explain how the people that they branded as savage and incapable of civilization built civilizations and built cultures and built monuments and etc. that they still can't build today. And the way to do that is to separate those people from the accomplishments themselves. So what they did is they basically said that the people of North Africa, in other words, the Semitic people, Afro-Asiatic people, which include the Berbers, were white. The terms they used are pastoral Caucasians or pastoral Europeans or dark-skinned Caucasians or Eurafricans. You know, and it's the same thing they do today. You know, as a matter of fact, this very same ideal of the Hamitic hypothesis is what we see today in American bureaucracy and American recordings on race via Federal Directive 15. Let's go. So I'm going somewhere with a number of these things. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Dr. Chancellor Williams, who, by the way, is an opponent of Islam, says on page 207 of The Destruction of Black Civilization, in the third paragraph. It's on the screen, but I'll read it. Now again, just who were the Moors? The answer is very easy. The original Moors, like the original Egyptians, were black Africans. As amalgamation became more and more widespread, only the Berbers, Arabs, and coloreds in the Moroccan territories were called Moors, while the darkest and black-skinned Africans were called black Moors. Eventually, black was dropped from black Moor. In North Africa, and Morocco in particular, all Muslim Arabs, mixed breeds, and Berbers were readily regarded as Moors. The African blacks, having had even this name taken from them, must contend for recognition as Moors. So even this man, even though he said a number of things that are along the lines of the Orientalists like Seligman and the like regarding the Berbers, he still says that the Moors is a title, or the term Moor is a title that belongs to us. Now, our sister Dana Marnici clears the whole matter up. In her paper, The Denigrification of Berbers and Canaanites, I'm going to read from the last paragraph on this slide. Anthropological race theories of darker black Caucasoid types. That's what I just mentioned. That's an invention of European Orientalists, dark Caucasoids, which they called Euro-Africans or Mediterraneans or Hamites, Semites, etc. Colonial conceptions of the Negro. Colonial conceptions, which means isolating them to only sub-Saharan Africa. And modern political constructs of blackness in Europe, or and of the Abid or slave in the Near East, play a significant role in ethno-historic interpretations of the origins of early North African Berber or Arabic speakers. The neglect in contemporary historiography of the biological impact of documented movements of various northern groups over the last several centuries into North Africa and the same latitudes in Asia, including white slave trade, has had deleterious influence on early African historical study. It is a second primary factor contributing to the current theoretical constructs that dismiss the predominant role of populations of black Africans and Afro-Arabian affiliation in the ethnic groups first designated Maori, which is the true origin of the word Moor, Berber, and Arab. What does that mean? Well, let me show everybody what it means. That's what it means. What you're looking at the top two pictures are true Arabs. True Arabs. See, the brother says that we came from West Africa, or specifically Ghana. Not to be petty, but Ghana didn't exist as a nation state until after 1883 with the Berlin Conference. Europeans created the borders that we now call Ghana. But what we have here is original Arabians, or original Arabs, versus Arabized Arabians. If you avail yourself of the book, The Unknown Arabs by Dr. Tariq Berry, clear definitive proof of the dark complexion of the original Arabs and the Arab origin of the so-called African Americans. As a matter of fact, our brother kind of helped us out when he mentioned that, where are we? Hold on just a second. When he mentioned West African origins, that was actually a benefit. We're going to show you why. This was a speech. Can everybody see this? Can you see this? Can we see it? Is everyone there?
My bad. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to hear. All right. I'll read it. Your forefathers were Arabs from Yemen who settled here over 5,000 years ago. The Arabs arrived in Africa, settled in Africa, and gave the name of Jannah to what is today called Ghana. Jannah, an Arabic word, means a small paradise. The Arabs gave all the names here when they reached the Atlantic Ocean. Let me repeat that. The Arabs gave all the names you hear when they reached the Atlantic Ocean. Your origins are Arab, and so are your kith and kin. You are the Yemeni tribes residing now on the equator. The Hausa tribe is the Hausa tribe you find in Libya, in Niger, and in Nigeria. The Hausa language is an ancient Arabic language, as is Swahili. The Fulani is an Arab tribe, and so is the Yoruba or Iroba, meaning Arabism, and the Tuareg. All the tribes inhabiting the Sahara from the south of the Arabian Peninsula to the Atlantic are Arab, and that is why they wish to annihilate these people. The war being waged at present is not only a crusade, but also a racist ethnic.
I gotta meet you, brother. Time. Hold that thought. Now I gotta compensate for my brother Garfield.
Hey, you know, Abba just text me and say, Garfield, what type of scholarship is that? You gotta understand, this is something that was done. Hold on, Tarka. And by the way, Sharif, you're pretty much you're not too up on your scholarship like you think you are. First of all, the term Ghana. Hold on. I gotta respond.
You're gonna respond, brother. Let me set the clock. So
no, let me respond.
We gotta keep it organized. No, brother.
Okay.
You have plenty of time.
All right, cool.
You have plenty of time. You have 12 minutes.
Hold on a second. Before you do that, hold on.
Whose screen share is that?
Let me check. That's probably his.
Okay.
All right. First and foremost.
Bro. Let's get it organized. Somebody need to stop their screen share.
All right. No. Listen, I wasn't prepared to have my stuff organized. I just had some basic stuff together. Well, so I wasn't ready for no presentation.
Hey, bro, that's how we rock.
All right. Well, hold on. All right. No problem.
Don't move halfway, brother.
No problem. All right, Tarka, relax. First and foremost, the first thing that he put up was Clyde.
I got to give you time, brother.
Let me respond. Let me respond to the pseudoisms here.
Okay, let me reset the clock. Go. You respond. We got 12 minutes on you, brother.
All right. Now the brother pulled up. He likes to appeal to scholarship and authority, and I like Chancellor Williams is one of my favorites too. I won't deny that. But because Chancellor Williams says that, brother, as an enemy of Islam, we should take his word. What type of logic is that? This is what's wrong with the community of Moors when it comes to scholarship. You haven't dealt with somebody who knows how to evaluate information properly. First and foremost, that Clyde Winters article, have you really read it? I'm going to say that to the audience right now. Has he really read that? Let's look at what Clyde Winters says. And by the way, why are we using Clyde Winters when Clyde Winters is the source of all his information? Did you hear what I just said? If anybody goes on my timeline, I've debated Clyde Winters for like a whole month. The guy's the most pseudo. He's an elder. I love him and I respect him. But he's a doctor of nothing that he talks about. And he got a doctorate from his own school in his own house. So his doctorate ain't no doctorate where you go and get qualified by other PhDs and people peer review your work. This is just a black man who uses his skin color to promote whatever he wants to promote. There's no evidence that anyone came here from Africa before colonialism. There's no evidence of it. But let's look at what Clyde Winters says. He said that, listen, people are saying that it's because of the sub-Saharan trade and Africans being sold in Mexico. That's why we got this stuff going in. And by the way, I just Googled this because I have my Clyde Winters file here, but I'm not even going to go through that right now. I just wanted to bring up what you just brought up and show you where you're incorrect, because I don't think you know Clyde Winters as well as I do. Now, Clyde Winters is saying the bottom line to this article is that when Mansa Musa's brother came to America from Mali, that's when the blood of the sub-Saharan was given to the men in Mexico. So if you look at all his works, every source that Clyde Winters gives goes directly back to him or to a source that don't exist. And Clyde Winters has pulled this off on the African-American community or the black community for the longest, but nobody calls him on it because he's black. He has the same skin color as us. So Sharif, you could just kiss that Clyde Winters stuff goodbye, and we could debate that whenever you're ready. All right. So let me just get off of that. Let me go back to this. Let me go back to what I showed at the beginning again. Moors has nothing, again, family, whether you want to talk if Garfield is using Wikipedia or not. Let's go to the and Moorish World TV. Cut it out, bro. I'm hurt. I'm not hurt because the brother is putting out misinformation. I got to correct it right away. Clyde Winters is not a source, and you can't appeal to authority and says that. So in that case, I could just use the Encyclopedia Britannica, because the Encyclopedia Britannica supersedes all of them because it's a consensus of the scholarship. So if I'm telling you Moors is not a self-defined distinct people, and he's saying that the term Ghana, you see, for those who don't know, Ghana's original name was Ouagadougou. And when it was Ouagadougou, it was nowhere near where it was. It was further up northwest, near to the Sudan. That's where Ouagadougou was. All right? And that's where the kingdom, and they moved from there to where they are today. So for this guy to tell us, oh, it comes from this people and that people, study the Ghana people, be an initiate to one of the Akan. Then you can speak about where they come from. What authority are you speaking on? Have you ever been an Akan initiate? Have you ever been an initiate with the Fan or any of those people that's attached to the Akan people? So how are you going to tell the people, the Akan, that they come from somewhere? That's based off whose? Then he says that Garfield is appealing to because what did he say? He said something about the Hamitic theory. Now, ladies and gentlemen, because, and this is actually going to be my book that I'm writing about the Hebrews, by the way, that's coming out real soon. The Hamitic hypothesis has a lot to do with why people don't want to identify with who they are. This is the reason why we gravitate to Abrahamic faith like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, because we want to be attached to Ham, Shem, and Japhet. And for those who are Muslims or follow the Quran, you want to be aligned up with, I guess, with the Ishmaelites, again, which comes back to the Bible. So without the Bible, there's no Islam. So now he briefs up the Hamitic hypothesis, and Garfield is appealing to this because he's listening to his masters. Let me tell y'all something, family. I don't care who the information comes from. If it's true, it's true. It ain't got nothing to do with skin color, because every source we use, even if it's Chancellor Williams, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, they all use white sources. So we can't play the color game. This is how we appeal to black people's emotions. The argument is the origins of the people from West Africa. If E1B1A has been in West Africa for over 20,000 years, how are you going to tell me I come from somewhere else? Really and truly now, if you want to deal with DNA and genetics, how are you going to tell me that? How are you going to tell Garfield that? Now, let me go to this article. Hold on a second. Let me look at this. Hold on. Let me put in more real quick, because I need to find this quote real quick from this article. Real quick. Let me see if I could find this quote real quick. The quote is, the Andalusi Arabic sources, as opposed to later Mudahar and Morisco sources in Alimaldo and medieval Spanish texts, neither refer to individuals as Moors nor recognize any such group, community, or culture. So you see, at the end of the day, family, that goes back. I'm not saying nobody in that era was ever mentioned as a Moor, but it wasn't like how these guys portray these Moors, like they had these bunch of people here that was Moors and they were defined the way that you were defining it. Listen, family, we can go through every single scholar that they have. You know what then? Since Sharif want to play this game about we playing blackface or Garfield is playing the same game as Reggie, you know what? Moving forward, let's only use black people who has done the anthropological and the archaeological work. How about that for the rest of the conversation? Let's not use any white sources. Let's use a black source for every conversation that we have. Since color, this color game, you want to play this color game right now. Because if I show a definition by what's the name of this guy again? This guy here. Let me get his name right. Let me get his name. Leo Africanos. If I say Leo Africanos, he's a white guy, and he's telling us about Moors in his time period, 1526. This is a primary source. So I must throw away this primary source from 1526, who is documenting, and by the way, a lot of the history we know of Africa is because of this guy. So if we're going to throw him out, we'll have to throw everything that Sharif has said, because now we're going to have to look at each scholarship. Show me the anthropologist and the archaeologist, the historian, the geneticist, and the person who deals with linguistics to show and prove what you just said. Because now you're saying the term Ghana, like the people from Ghana don't know where the hell they come from. How the hell you gonna say that Ghana people is, and they have the E1B1A? Where they got the E1B1A from? I want to know, if I do a DNA test now, I'm 78 to 86% E1B1A. So where's that telling me where I'm coming from? So for you to say that the Moors are primarily sub-Saharan Africans, I don't accept that at all. I don't accept it at all. That's an opinion of one person or two person. Let's deal with the facts. And the facts is, you can show no person that ever came to America. You have no evidence. If you're going to use Clyde Winters, you're dead wrong. I'm going to kill that all day, every day. Clyde Winters has no evidence. It's stuff that he makes up. And he's pointed it to Mali about Mansa Musa's brother coming to America, which there's no evidence. 2,000 ships came here. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of the ships. There's no evidence of genetic evidence. If there was, you'd find genetic evidence of the people having an admixture. This is what Clyde Winters was trying to draw from the fact that, saying that he found something when he quoted somebody from 1920, which the source actually doesn't say that. So if I say to Sharif now, show and prove what Clyde Winters said, show me his source. Let's go to the origin of the source and deal with it. Sharif can't deal with that. He's going to get beat up in the head. The point that I'm trying to make to everybody is, nobody would be calling themselves Moors, Muslims, Christians, Hebrews. All these labels is what divide us. And everybody want to come correct, because you see at the intro, oh, the man of the hour, Noble Drew Ali and whatever. Come on. Noble Drew Ali ain't did nothing better than anybody else in this country. That plumber did, the Hebrew Israelite, he did more than Noble Drew Ali. And y'all probably didn't even hear about him. What about Crowder and all those people, Hebrew Israelites who did a lot of work? What about those? I'm not talking about the other ones where one West come from. These are Hebrews who have done a lot of work. The Nation of Islam has done work. Marcus Garvey has done work. Several groups have done work, much more than what Noble Drew Ali have done. So we can't say Noble Drew Ali was the best when he didn't even do the best. So at the end of the day, it's not about labels, family. It's about you as an individual researching yourself, going through your genealogy, going through your DNA, going through linguistic evidence. I could prove I'm from Ghana based on linguistics. I could prove I'm from Ghana from the foods and the folkways that we have. You can prove you're from Morocco. You got to show me that culture and show me that you're a Moor. How are you going to show and prove that? You see, we're running from being just West Africans because we don't want to be African. We don't want to be that. We want to be everything else but African. We can't sit down here every day saying, hey, I represent this, and we have nothing to show and prove. He didn't do nothing. He sounded official. He sounded smooth and nice, but nothing he said proved anything. It didn't prove nothing origins. All he showed was an opinion. How are you going to tell the people from Ghana that they're from somewhere else when they're from Ouagadougou and they tell you what their origins are? They tell you that. They have the oral traditions. They tell you the DNA evidence proves it. If E1B1A, that sequence, that marker, has been in West Africa for 20,000 years, family, how are you going to tell me the people come from somewhere else? That's where they came from. They've always been there. The Igbo, the Yoruba, they've always been there. If you look at the Igbo, they have like 15 oral traditions. 14 of them say they come from within the same land of Igbo. And the 15th one is the Igala people from the north saying that they come from, they're from the Sephardic Jews, which starts the whole Hamitic hypothesis because they want to be related to Israelites. Come on, family. How much time I got left, brother?
You got 1 minute, bro. It takes
10 minutes? No, I'll stop right here.
Okay. We'll stop there. So let me reiterate. Let me stop my share.
And stop cheerleading in the chat, bro. You can't help yourself, can you?
Bro,
You can't help yourself, right?
You reminded me I didn't say nothing else. You know what I mean? but let me say this. Let me say this, bro. I'm looking for the scholarship, and I just don't see it. I hear you talking that they say this, they say that, but I'm looking for you to break something from them. But I guess we might have to do a rerun so you can have time.
No, because we didn't plan this like this. The only topic we were talking about is the origins of where the African Americans come from, and the DNA evidence alone. Do you want me to bring it on the screen? I'll bring it. Hold on a second. Do you want me to put the DNA evidence? Because the DNA evidence. Hold on. I said, hold on.
No, bro, no, hold up.
I'm not saying anything. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
I want to be a good host.
But Taharka, What
Yeah.
source do you want me to prove and show? I
No,
already
no,
showed.
that's on you, brother.
I already showed the DNA with what they say that we have. We have
Brother,
E1B1A. Trace it. If
brother,
you try
nobody
to
gonna
prove
come
that
to
he
my
was,
show if I argue with you.
but it's but Tarka, it's
I don't want to
logical.
do this. You had your 12 minutes, brother. Let me just say this, family. I want everybody to give this a thumbs up, because the more that you give a thumbs up, it gets puts into the algorithms of YouTube, and more people will get to see it, and then the people can decide. I won't be the deciding factor, nor Sharif or Brother Garfield. I appreciate y'all participation. Please thumbs up and share if you can. So the name of the game or the topic is, what are the true origins of the quote unquote African Americans, or the quote unquote black people in America, as well as the islands? That's the topic.
Hey, Tarka, you need to tell the people that this is a last minute conversation. You need to tell them that. Because people are saying, where is the evidence? What evidence of what? What am I going to show? Nobody was prepared for a debate. We were prepared for a conversation.
Okay,
that's what we're preparing for.
Conversation, bro. But you know, I talked to you last week, and we talked this week, and so even today I was like, bro, I said, Garfield, I need to know your position. If we're not Moors or Moabites, I need you to prove that we are otherwise. I said that to you, and I still mean that. You have to just prove that we are otherwise. As of yet,
I said we're West African. That's it.
Okay.
And what did I show at the beginning, Taharka? I'm gonna ask you a question. What did I show at the beginning?
Bro, let's get through. Let's go 15-15, and then y'all ask each other questions.
No. I just went 11, so he got to go 11 back.
Okay.
And I want to see Clyde Winter's source.
But listen, it seemed like when y'all get the flowing, I added 15-15, and that'll give us 30 minutes, and then the remaining time we can pose questions to you pose questions to each other on a time frame. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all get the flowing, man, around 10. So, but I know you said you ain't have a lot of time, so I cut the time back. Is that fair? 15-15, and then just pose questions?
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
All right. So at this point, it is now. I'm gonna reset the clock, and it's now again, family.
Hold on, Tarko. Hold on a second. Hello. Where you want me to meet you?
That's classic, brother. That's that classic Sharif. He that told the sister call him.
You know, because they think I'm playing. All right. I'm gonna call you right back. All right. 1 minute. I'm gonna call you right back.
Get on the stage in New York. Yeah, ma, I'm coming, ma. I love you, ma.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So yeah, family.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on my phone, because I'm gonna go in my car. So I'm gonna go on my phone. Is that cool?
Brother, just don't use it as an excuse later.
No.
So would you like to return and be more prepared after? But you can still go.
There's nothing to prepare for.
Okay.
There's nothing to what is there? What is there that Sharif said that there's to prepare for?
Yeah, let's let Brother Sharif go, because we just having a conversation now. I'm trying to get to the information. So with that, Brother Sharif, you have from this second 15
give me about
minutes. Go.
All right. First and foremost, I want to say to the good brother, you should know, if you know me, even a little bit about me, you should know better than to accuse me of using the color game, or any Moorish American follower of Noble Jawali to use the color game. I wasn't talking about the colors, and I was definitely not criticizing you on using so-called white sources. You know, don't presume. You know what presuming does. I'm talking about a psychology that your position just happens to be directly in line with. That's what I'm talking about. See, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a thought organization. We know how to think. That's what we teach people how to do first. So, I mean, the situation here is a psychology issue more so than a scholarship issue. It really, really is. Secondly, you still have not, outside of saying West African, you still have not forwarded a position on identity. West African is too broad, as you said yourself. So basically, your answer was a non-answer, right? Second, and the third thing, DNA and ethnohistory are two different things. I respect DNA. But to try to identify an entire group of people based on DNA is like trying to carve a turkey with a baseball bat. It's too broad, bro. First and foremost, DNA does not accurately cover migration. It just doesn't. And as far as Clyde Winters goes, see, if you're going to vet Clyde Winters as a source, the source presented here was his genetic findings. You got to vet the genetic findings, brother. You know, that, I mean, you know, you dance well, but this isn't Soul Train. You got to vet the genetic findings that he presented. See, if we're talking that, then, you know, there you go. The ball's in your court to vet the genetic findings, not try to discredit him as a researcher and say, and then go on an 11-minute tirade about Clyde Winters crying about how, oh, he's less than credible, but you dodged the actual statement. You dodged the actual statement, which is the presence of Africoid DNA in large sections of the Mexican population. That's what you got to deal with. And if you haven't addressed that, then what I said stands, and there you go. It's just that simple. You got to address that. So anyway, share the screen. Where are we at? To deal with this whole thing about West Africans, let's talk about that. First and foremost, Noble Drew Ali, in terms of identity, used the term nationality. He didn't use the term race. He didn't say, what is our race? He didn't say, what is our ethnicity? He said, what is our nationality? And see, that's another thing, too, that was a fatal flaw for Reggie. You can't debate a topic you have no knowledge of. Learn about what nationality is first, then you can intelligently discuss the topic. That being said, let me share my screen. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. This is from page 468 of The Moors of West Africa and the Beginnings of the Portuguese Slave Trade by Kenneth Baxter Wolfe. This addresses directly the whole issue of the brother saying we're not Moors, we're West Africans. Here we go. But in more practical terms, this crude categorization created a context for Portuguese aggression towards the West Africans. For the category Moor in the mind of Zorara, and we assume in the minds of Alfonso and the Portuguese sea captains as well, carried with it a very specific blueprint for action, insofar as these peoples were regarded as Moors in some general sense. They found themselves being treated as Moors in a very specific sense, as an enemy to be fought, captured, and sold into slavery. Even when Zorara finally enunciates the concept of natural slavery, he does so as a subcategory of the enslavement of Moorish prisoners of war. What is this relating to, people? Let's read the above quote from Professor Azir Ahmed in his book, The Transatlantic Slave Trade. At first, the capture of a few slaves did not cause a stir in Lisbon. There were already many Muslim slaves in Portugal and Spain, just as there were Christian slaves in North Africa, captured in the frequent wars between the Christians and the Muslims. The slaves on both sides were kept as domestic servants, subject to the norms of the respective cultures. But as the benefit of owning slaves became obvious to the richer merchants of Lisbon, and with the trade sanctified by the Pope, investment in slave ventures increased. In 1443, an expedition was financed and organized explicitly to capture more Muslims. The Maghreb was in an advanced state of political disintegration, and the presence of these predatory ships was hardly noticed in the palaces of the emirs, busy plotting against each other. By 1465, Portugal was transporting more than 1,000 slaves a year from southern Morocco, Mauritania, and Senegambia. What are we talking about here, people? We are talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Let's look at this guy, Pope Eugene IV. Pope Eugene IV issued Ilias Qui, which is a papal bull that licensed the Portuguese raids on the West African coast as a continuance of the crusade against the Moors. What is this, people? You are looking at the man who officially on paper sanctioned the transatlantic slave trade. Professor Nazir Ahmed also says, Captains Goncalves and Tristão netted more than a dozen Muslims and enslaved them. Elated, Henry wrote to Pope Eugene IV, who gave a decree that capturing the Moors as slaves was a part of the crusade, and whoever sailed south in this pursuit would receive absolution of his sins. This was the origin of the slave trade, which began with Portuguese piracy on the Moroccan coast in 1441. The process was systematized in 1444 when the Portuguese Lagos Company was chartered under the patronage of Prince Henry. I mean, we can pretty much stop right there, people. I mean, when see a lot of us so-called conscious people, right? We know all of these things, we know everything but our own ignorance. We cannot point to the actual origins of the transatlantic slave trade. Well, we just showed you, people. We just showed you. And why was it considered that West Africa, why was West Africa included in the crusade? Why? Because the Moroccan Empire commercially controlled West Africa. Plain and simple. But see, for you to understand that, you would have to understand the science of empire. You have to understand the science of empire. Let's go to Palestine 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, Palestine, that whole area was under the control of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire. So the Palestinians enjoyed their own culture, their own religion, and a degree of self-governance, but they were still considered Roman citizens. And that's just the fact. But again, this is a conversation that's being had with somebody who's ignorant of the crucial components needed to have an intelligent conversation on the topic. Let's go. Pope Nicholas V. Pope Nicholas V also issued papal bulls Dum Diversus and Romanus Pontifex. What these did was they extended to Christian nations of Europe dominion over so-called discovered Moorish territories during the age of the discovery, or age of discovery, also encouraging enslavement of native and non-Christian people. Dum Diversus, Romanus Pontifex, and Inter Caetera became the foundation of the doctrine of discovery. The global slave trade of the 15th and 16th centuries, the age of imperialism and manifest destiny, which peaked in development and use in America as what? The color code system of black and white. That's how it started, people. The bottom line is Noble Drew Ali was correct. He said, why are we Moorish Americans? Answer, because we're descendants of Moroccans and born in America. He didn't say racially or altogether ethnically. He said politically. Why politically, people? Because socio-politically is the way people identify themselves in the families of nations. People are quick to talk about in the so-called conscious community that we're a nation inside of a nation. They just can't tell you what nation we came from. They sound like Garfield. Well, we just came from West Africa. That's a non-definition, my man. That's basically saying we just the N-word. We're just assorted nuts. There's still no definition, hence no way to organize. And I'm going to say this. Matter of fact, this is the last thing I'll say. I can give the rest of the time to the brother. I would agree. One thing I will agree with him on is that the term Moor, as it relates as an identifier for us, is not ethno-specific. I will agree 100% with that. The Moors were a diasporic people. The Moorish Empire, that's what by definition, an empire encompasses many lands, nations, tribes, etc. Many. So those under the Moorish Empire politically are considered what, people? Moors. Now, here's my last and final point in this particular round. The only people on the planet today that mirror or even come close to the diasporic variety of African peoples that the Moorish Empire came close to is the so-called African American today. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was right and exact by saying we are, because that's just what we are. We are direct descendants of that diasporic African people that ruled the known world for nearly 800 years. I yield the floor, please.
Yeah, I'm here, brother, but I'm driving. But go ahead. Go ahead, Taharka.
So I don't know if you was able to keep up because you had left and came back.
He said a lot of things that I can counter, but what use is it gonna do? Because if he says, I'm gonna give a quick example. We know Adahu the Moor is one of the guys that brought them to West Africa, right? A Moor.
Let me give you the clock though, brother. Let me give you the clock so we can get to the question session too. So your time starts now. Go, brother.
All right. First and foremost, when the Almoravids, right, in the 11th century, were transporting Africans, West Africans, to Europe, that was way before Henry the Navigator, and all that stuff. So the Moors were Muslims or Moors, whatever you want to classify them, was already carrying them. So I am well equipped and knowledgeable to know that somebody's BSing. When he's talked about the people that went to Europe, we're talking about people transported from West Africa to America, not to Europe. We know black people went to Europe. We know they took the people from the Kingdom of Congo and convert them to Christianity. We know all of that, bro. What are you talking about? We know all of that history. Took them to Portugal and then brought them back to Congo and make sure that they colonized the folks with Christianity. We know all of that history. That is no problem. The issue I have is you left out the most important part of Adahu the Moor, who cut a deal to say, hey, I'm gonna get you to West Africa so you could enslave these Negroes. You left that part out. How convenient, my brother. That is so knowledgeable. How convenient. But anyway, let me get in. And if I'm shouting, it's because I'm on the earpiece and I'm driving. So I'm not shouting because I'm mad or mad at the brother or whatever, although he's trying to show his little shots. Listen, family, the people that went to Portugal, if he said thousands went there, is he saying that the thousands was transported to the West Indies and into North America and to the Americas? That is the craziest thing. Because we have the records of when they left West Africa and went to America. So now we have this dude who is under the damn spell of this Hamitic hypothesis, trying to say that Moroccans and Noble Drew Ali's right. I don't want to disrespect the prophet, your prophet, because he's not my prophet. I will never do that. But he was wrong. How can you say to people from Morocco? That's all I was waiting for. That's all I was waiting Sharif to say the whole night. That Morocco word. Because we know we ain't from no damn Morocco. And I'm saying it right now, family. Go back to what I showed at the beginning. For those who want to learn, don't pick a side because he's a fez wearing Moor. Don't take his side. Look at what I said. We could track where the 11 million people that survived came from. He's trying to imply that the Muslims, this scholar that he read, said that the Muslims went to Portugal. I have no issue with anybody going to Portugal. But tell the truth. The Kingdom of Congo. Remember Adahu the Moor. That's why. And if you want to go back a little further, my brother, it goes back to Prester John. Because Prester John is who they was looking for because they said he left a lot of gold in Ethiopia. That's who the Portuguese was looking for, based again off Abrahamic faith. That's what it boils down to. But if you want to talk about slavery, talk about the Almoravids. Talk about those people. Talk about the 11th century and what they did to black people in Africa. Talk about what they did to Ghana. Talk about all that stuff that they did. Don't sugarcoat some and leave some out because we know Adahu is a Moor. Adahu the Moor was one of the main culprits that cut a deal to free himself so that they could enslave the Africans in the West, all over. But anyway, let me say this. I'm going to talk for about 1.5 minutes, and there is nothing he has said tonight that has proven that the West Africans I'm talking about are Moors. You can't bring up one point. And then he bring up Clyde Winters. The point of the matter is he proved my point with Clyde Winters. I proved that he has not read the work. Because if he had read the work and go behind the sources and double check it, he would have seen that Clyde Winters is sourcing himself. Clyde Winters never went in no damn lab and went and got no damn records. He must have got it from somebody. So who did you get it from, Clyde? I had this debate with Clyde Winters already, my brother. I know him very well. I'm very familiar with his work. I study Clyde Winters because I was looking for him as a way out to get things correct and say, look at what the white people are hiding from us. But what I find out is these black scholars that we use, most, not they sugarcoat and bullshit stuff. I'm sorry to use the word bullshit. They sugarcoat information because of blackness, because of color of skin. So while they're using white sources, family, we said, oh, I trust him because he's black. So I'm saying to everybody that's listening, I don't care about no labels, family. All Garfield, what he's saying about nation, there is no nation of Moors. There's some people within America who want to put the Moorish American and say, hey, I want to start a grocery store. I want to be sheriff for this town. I want to do this. I want to do that. But there's no Moorish nation. It's in the mind. I'm not being disrespectful. It's just the truth. There's no Moorish nation, family. The Nation of Islam is the most progressive group since the 1920s that still survives today. And they have over 100 mosques, way over 100 mosques under Louis Farrakhan. And they have, of course, they have different sects and all that. So they're the most successful group who taught this whole Asiatic thing, which is just something of that time period. But I say that to say this, family, there is no way Sharif Bey has proven tonight. There's no information. The Clyde Winters information, garbage. The information about they taking people to Portugal. What does that have to do with coming to America? Because I do know they took ships with small amount of Moors that came to the West Indies, yes. But they had at 1535, why did they ban Muslims? Why did the Spanish Empire ban Muslims from coming? Because the Muslims would have taught them about horses and how to fight back and run away. So they banned Muslims and Moors from coming, anybody with the Islamic faith from coming to this side to the New World. He ain't tell you that part, did he? Because Garfield don't know that much, right? 1535, Garfield don't know that much about this. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to sugarcoat because I have nothing to lose. I'm not a Moor. I'm not a Hebrew. I'm not a Christian. I'm Garfield telling you, go back, do your research. Look at Garfield as an example. I did 5 DNA tests, family. 5 DNA tests. And when they checked all the sequences for all the testing, I was between 78 and 86% West African. I got E1B1A. Now, where's Garfield from? Okay, when I grew up in Jamaica, my mom used to tell me Anansi stories. Anansi is a West African god. It's a West African god out of the Akan culture. So that means the people who went to Jamaica, because over 1.2 million slaves, unlike America, 1.2 million slaves went to Jamaica. So out of those 1.2 million, guess what? Almost 65% of them was deported to British colonies. Some of them include South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland. So that means my brother, if my brother Sharif Bey is from South Carolina or Virginia, he might be Jamaican. He might be part Jamaican. You never know. Because intercolonial slave trade between the the British Isles and the British colonies, it happened. It happened with the Spanish colonies too. So that's how a lot of people ended up here in North America. Not by no Muslims being traded to Europe. Why are we lying? Why are we not telling the truth? This is simple. This is easy work, family. I didn't need no notes for this. This is common knowledge. So once you figure out that Clyde Winters didn't do his own genetic work, you could stop repeating that lie, by the way, because he didn't do it. Okay, just for the record. We could have this conversation off the ear too, so you won't make the mistake in some debate and use Clyde Winters again to prove that Black Africans, Sub-Saharan Africans was here before colonial time period. And I know there's a lot of people in the audience believe that, but family, there's no proof. There's no proof Mansa Musa's brother or him came to North America. There's no proof of that. There's no proof Egyptians sailed here that Ivan van Sertima was teaching. There's no evidence of that. I'm here for truth and truth only. So Garfield now speaks Jamaican, or what we call Jamaican patois. Come and we're going to nyam down on the road. Come and nyam some food. Nyam, enyame. Nyam, enyame. Enyame is the god of the Akan people. I could speak patois, and Jamaicans would understand me, and none of y'all who's listening would understand me right now. Because it's a part of the Twi language, which is what the Akan people spoke. So I could prove through linguistic evidence that I am from Ghana. I'm a West African, proud of it. I ain't trying to be no Abrahamic faith follower. I ain't trying to be what I'm not. And all this is doing, family, is trying to tell us, oh, where you from West Africa. I know where I'm from. You got to do your own search. This is why at the beginning I showed where everybody came from. The most people came from Senegambia. And he just said it a while ago. He said that they took slaves from Senegambia and from North Africa and so forth. I'm not denying all of that, family. But the Atlantic slave trade, we know where they took them from. We know from 1444 what happened. We know when the Spanish, when the English, the British got involved. We know when the Dutch was involved, how their boats was the main ones that they were using. We know what the Portuguese did. This is why reparations is so important. We going at the wrong people because America didn't own no ships. America was a British colony. We have to go to the countries. This is why Jamaica is getting reparations from who? From Scotland. Because they were the ones that were responsible, the company in Scotland. You got to be smart with it. So now for him to say a nation within a nation, if you want to build your own nation and call it Moorish this or Moorish that, that's on you. But don't fall victim and say Noble Drew Ali is correct because of this. Noble Drew Ali is not correct. We are from West and Central Africa, period. You have not presented no evidence, not one piece that prove that we are from from Northwest Africa or North Africa or no, we're not from there. No. The Wagadu, that's where from originally. That's where original kings were. That's the history. That's what the Arabic sources talk about, the oral traditions. So we don't have to play this game of you see, when you have the mindset that you're a Moor, all these things are going to come up and saying, yeah, we're this, we're that. You're trying to prove that. Instead of going where the evidence leads, you're going to go where your belief leads. And that's where your research is wrong. So whoever it is, you, Abba, whoever else want to come and have a real discussion about this, you cannot prove that anybody here is a Moor per se. And you just admitted it's nothing to do with ethnological background. It has to do with different titles that white folks, not us, white folks gave us. And that's the bottom line to it. They call us Moors for whatever reason. Because you're dark skinned, because of this title, or for whatever reason. Peace. Sorry for shouting, bro, because I'm driving. I'm waiting for the superior evidence that Sharif Bey got. That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay, brother. Now, again, conversation is, Garfield, you held the burden to prove that we are not Moor or Moorish or descendants from.
Hey, excuse me one second, Tarka. I can't talk after this, okay? I can't talk after this. There's gonna be a bunch of people in my car, and we're gonna be making noise. We gotta go to a spot, and then after that, all right? So I don't think I could talk after this. I'll listen, but I can't talk.
Okay, now let me ask you a question though, since you can't talk. Do you want to set up an official? Because I want to say this, brother, with all due respect, you didn't bring any of the evidence. You actually just stated that the people said and the Ghana people said. Do you want to redo this, where you present what the people actually say?
All I presented was the where the people, the documentation said the people came, where they came from, and they came from West Africa. Now, if he's saying that the West Africans are Moors, I don't see how they're wearing the title of Moor when the title of Moor has nothing to do with
that's not the question.
background.
That's not the question. The question is, would you like a redo because you seem...
Oh, with the Wagadu part, with the Wagadu. Okay, that's fine, because that demolishes what he said though. It just totally demolishes what he said about the people coming from Libya. That's what's crazy.
No,
that's disrespecting my ancestors. Just like I can't disrespect Noble Drew Ali, that's disrespecting my ancestors. So now my ancestors are liars.
Brother,
you can't do that. That's fake information.
What I'm asking is, would you like to redo this where you, although we talked about this last week, I'm asking, would you like to redo this where you can present your empirical evidence on your position?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, all right, because you say you can't say no more. But anyway, your burden of proof was to prove that we are not Moors, not Moabites, not descendants from Moroccans and born in America, and that the African-American people that are known as the African-American people, referred to as the African-American people, you were to give a definition of where they're from, or give a defining geographical location of where they're from and who we are. And so it was Sharif's burden of proof, because he's a Moor, to prove that the people here in America, so-called African-American, are of Moorish descent. So with that, Brother Sharif, he has the floor for 15 minutes, but he can... This is
a funny conversation.
So with that, Brother Sharif, the floor is yours, brother.
So first, I would like to say that, you know, I would agree with Mr. Reid that this is pretty much kind of like an off-the-cuff impromptu conversation. I literally came in from teaching class, kissed the wife, put the grandchildren in the bed, and sat down and opened up my laptop. And that's kind of how this thing went. There was no real preparation. As you can see, I'm just kind of bouncing around with different pieces that I just happen to have on my laptop. I would definitely be open to doing something more formal and something more arranged. That being said, let's get right to it. First, the brother doesn't listen well. But the documentation from that I mentioned regarding the origins of the transatlantic slave trade, starting with the Portuguese, nowhere in there did it say that, or did the information or I say that the Portuguese were taking slaves to Portugal. Brother, be making stuff up. It says the origin of the transatlantic slave trade, bro. Meaning those slaves were taken from Spain to America. Dr. Ben agrees with this. Any scholar worth their salt on this issue agrees that the first African slaves were taken from Spain to America. And that's just a fact. That's what the information says. That's information you're not familiar with, obviously, because as you tried to say about me, if I had read it, if you had read it, you would know. Secondly, you spent 15 minutes saying something is fake. That's not a scholarly or scientific rebuttal. Saying something's fake doesn't make it so. You haven't produced anything outside of Wikipedia, like somebody else I know. But, man. All right, where do I start? Because I'm kind of, one other thing I'd like to say, and this is mainly for the audience. Nationality, please learn what nationality means. Please. This is a problem. We can't have the conversation intelligently if I say nationality and this individual's thinking race or ethnicity. But then he finished off by trying to imply that nationality is something that quote unquote white people invented. Like Europeans invented nationalism or nationalism. Well, I don't got, whatever. Nationality, then and now, is the primary way. See, this is going to be educational for everybody listening. It's the primary way that people identify, even in 2018. We know Italians, but not every Italian is ethnically the same, which also means not every Italian is genetically the same. Let me repeat that. We all know Italians, but not every Italian is ethnically the same. Some are Neapolitan, some are Calabrese, some are Sicilian. Those are different ethnic groups under the national identity of Italian, which also means that not one of them has the exact same DNA. Figure that out. Fact of the matter is that nationality is the order of the day. Order of the day as in that's how people organize. The brother kept saying, oh, well, you got to do your own research. You got to do your own research and find out who you are. That's individualism, people. That's individualism. That is every Negro for himself. That's what he was telling you. Once again, a non-position. To him, it's every Negro for himself. You got to do the DNA. You got to do the research for yourself. See, that's the problem with identifying with the names and principles that delude to slavery. Slavery being what? The inability to organize, hence having to depend on someone else. This whole thing is about organization. Power, the power to redeem yourself comes from the ability to organize. When Noble Drew Ali said we lost our nationality, he didn't say specifically national identity, although that's a part of it. Nationality and national identity are not mutually exclusive. Merely knowing who you are and who your forefathers were is one thing, but carrying the quality and character of them is something totally different. And that is what unifies people. It's the quality of character that unifies people. But the whole point is that it unifies. You telling our people, oh, well, just do the DNA research for yourself. That's not a unification factor. It don't unify nobody. As a matter of fact, that further divides. That's what that does. So DNA is valuable in its proper context. It is not a grounds for unification. It's not. If that was the case, all Italians would be fighting against each other because not one of them has the exact same DNA. Get real, people. Come on. I mean, all right, I got one other thing I'll show. And then, I mean, I don't really know what else to say because it's very difficult to have this conversation in an intelligent fashion with someone who doesn't really know the topic. It's very, very difficult. Let me see if I can pull up this this picture I'd like to show you all and then read from another source, by the way, another source. And that'll be it. Please bear with me. Please bear with me. There it is. All right, hold on. Share the screen. Can everybody see the picture?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. This picture comes from page 17 of a book called Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids. And I'm reading the caption that comes with it. You could find this book via PDF online, by the way. Designed for the detection and the punishment of heretics, the Spanish Inquisition was used as a giant pork barrel for the enrichment of crown, church, and inquisitors, while cheerfully eliminating dangerous radicals, which were those who had been taught medicine, geography, rhetoric, chemistry, physics, mathematics, and astronomy by Moorish philosophers in universities such as Cordova, whose libraries had since been destroyed. The Inquisition was also an excuse to rid the planet of such organized mystics as Illuminati, Manichaeans, and Albigensians. As a result, no Spaniard could write, speak, or even think without taking into consideration the torture racks of the Holy Office. As a deterrent to possible opposition in New Spain, 34 Negroes, including 4 women, were hanged and decapitated in Mexico City. That is what you're looking at right there. Why is that significant, people? This is why it's significant. That, first of all, you have to ask yourself some very interesting questions. Here's the first question you need to ask yourself. What in the world is the connection between the Spanish Inquisition against the Moors in Spain and Negroes in what's called New Spain, which is nowadays Mexico City? You have to ask yourself that. That's number one. 2, why did the Europeans anticipate opposition from these Negroes in Mexico City over the Spanish Inquisitions in Spain? 3, why did the Spanish, well, I already asked that question. 1, what did the Spanish Inquisition in Europe have to do with Negroes in Mexico City? 2, why would inquisitors in Spain anticipate opposition from Negroes in Mexico City? 3, why would the Inquisition link expelled Moors from Spain with Negroes in the Americas? Come on, man, the answers speak for themselves. Here's one of the answers. 1, Africans were in the Americas in significant enough numbers to warrant concerns about opposition to the Inquisition. Number 2, these Africans were intimately familiar with and connected to the social upheaval in Old World Spain. In other words, Moorish expulsion after the fall of Granada in 1492. I mean, we could do this all day. You know, I really don't know what else to say. You know, we could do this. We could do this all day.
Well, bro.
Where else to go? To be honest with you, I mean, it's.
Well, let me
brother. I want to go back to the. You know, because you know the brother's got a love affair with Clyde Winters, right? Once again, just saying to the audience that the man didn't do the DNA research that he claimed he did. It does 2 things. 1, it insults the intelligence of the listeners. Number 2, it allows you to very deftly sidestep the presentation of DNA evidence. You gotta vet it.
Sharif, can I ask you one question, brother? Did Clyde Winter say in his report that he did the research himself?
What did you say?
Did Clyde Winter say that he did the research himself?
Clyde Winters presented it in a scientific paper.
No. You just said that. You said earlier, brother, that Clyde Winters did the genetic work himself. You said that before I came back on. So I'm asking you now, how can you, where does he say that? Can you show us that, since you have the information and Garfield doesn't? Can you, I'm going to show you how you lied, and he's going to show and prove right now.
Brother,
so how are you going to show, you said that he did the research himself. So if he did the research himself, show me in that form, that article that you have, that he said that he did the research himself. And I'll never mention Clyde Winters again for the rest of the conversation.
You gonna let me talk now? Can I speak now? What I said was, this is what he presented. I did not say those words. He did the research himself. I said, this is what he presented. Now the onus is on you to vet the research. What you're doing is trying to credit. You gonna let me finish, bro? I'll let you talk.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
What you're doing is trying to discredit the bringer of the research instead of vetting the research. Vet the research, bro.
All right, you, as I said before, if anyone wants to go on my timeline and just punch in Clyde Winters' name, we had like a whole debate for like 2-3 weeks. And this was one of the things we had a debate about. Clyde Winters uses himself as a reference. Clyde Winters is not a reference because he never did the actual work. What I'm saying, it's faulty methodology. Don't take my word for it. I'm saying to you now, Sharif, this is off the debate mindset right now. This is me talking to you man to man. You need to vet him. You need to vet Clyde Winters. If you don't want to vet him, that's your business. But if you come with him when we have the debate, I'm going to show and prove that Clyde, when you brought up Clyde Winters, I was actually shocked. I'm like, wow, Clyde Winters as a source is not reliable because Clyde Winters uses himself as a, this is why the Ancient Origins website. Hold on a second. Hello?
This guy, man. I don't, so he said off the debate type. I don't think he really get what you're saying. I don't really think it's registering that we're not vetting Clyde Winters. We're saying that I'm not saying, Brother Sharif is saying that he presented some research. So now if you doubt it, then you must go vet the research. But to just say he's not reliable, go find and vet him.
Taharka, that's not a fair conversation because this is a last minute thing. I didn't even know he was going to bring up Clyde Winters, brother.
I got you, bro. But
all I'm saying to Sharif is, Sharif doesn't know DNA for one. It's very obvious with this conversation. He has little knowledge about DNA and genetics. He's not on my level. All I'm saying is research the researcher. Because if Clyde Winters writes something, the only reason why he used Clyde Winters is because he's black. That's the only reason he used Clyde Winters. But I gotta go. You
know how you beat that argument? We come back to the table, and then you show how his research is fallacious. It's just phony. You show that. That's how you knock that out the box. But you just ran.
Say that again. Just show what?
The way that you knock out the presentation from a Brother Sharif, then you find and show that the research.
So Taharka, you know what that means? That means you wasn't watching, because I told you I googled his whole thing. It was on his academic.edu website, and I showed his argument. I showed it on the screen.
So I'm talking about the DNA part.
Yes. I showed that. I showed it. I showed why he dropped. I showed Clyde Winters. Listen, Tarka. I showed Clyde Winters' work, and that his conclusion was drawn from the fact that he thought that Mansa Mutha's brother came over here. That was his conclusion. He assumed that.
And in fairness, who did the research for the DNA for Clyde Winters? You have to answer that.
Hold on, brother. Can I respond to that? Let me respond to that. In the final part, what he's talking about in the paper, he does in fact, Clyde Winters does in fact say that, in an explanation, he hypothesizes that, and that I'll give to the brother Garfield. He does hypothesize that the actual, in fact, presence of the Africoid DNA in the Mexicans may have come from the expedition from Abu Bakari II. That's all he hypothesizes about. He does not hypothesize the actual DNA. That's what he does. So, you know, let's come on, man. Let's be genuine.
Yeah, Sharif is correct. Sharif is correct as far as what the end part says.
I think you in a
I say this to Sharif. I say this to Sharif.
That's the DNA.
You want that?
Go ahead, bro. Yeah, I think what you have to do is embed the person who did the DNA strand for Clive Winters instead of talking about he's unworthy or he's discredited him. We got to discredit
Taharka, I don't think you were listening the whole night. His source is him. You guys not listen to me the whole night.
DNA.
What Clyde Winters done? Listen, family. Listen to me carefully. I've been through this with Clyde Winters. I'm not talking behind his back. I'm not being a hypocrite. Me and him have battles. When I mean battles, he called me all type of names. That's the type of battles I had with Clyde Winters. All right. Now he's my elder, so I can't call him names. So, but I'm telling you straight up, family, Clyde Winters is the source to most, if not all, the information he pushes out. You will see he sourced something and he goes right back to Clyde Winters.
Okay.
You cannot, that's not a source.
Did Clive Winters do his own DNA testing?
No, he didn't.
Okay. So that's the point. Brother Sharif is saying that Clive Winters presented DNA to affirm that there is presence of African, if you will, in America. So if you to discredit that, you will have to find who did the DNA testing for Clive Winters and discredit them. He only presented it. Do you understand that? Do you get that? I don't think you're getting it. He didn't went blank on me. But I say, am I saying it wrong, Brother Sharif? Is that correct?
That's pretty much it. And the fact of the matter is, I did read the paper. I've had this paper for about 5 years. You know, anybody else can read the paper. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna post if I'm able to. I'm gonna post the link in the chat. I'm able to. Let me see if I can.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that.
Hey man, let me give a shout out to my big bro, Dr. Ali Muhammad in the building. That's right. He's an Aboriginal. That's right. Man,
yeah, Taharka. The point that I was trying to make.
Don't you say nothing about Ali Muhammad.
About who?
Ali Muhammad in the building. Don't say nothing about Ali Muhammad.
That's my brother. from an alien, of course, but not my brother from Earth, from an alien. He's like Dr. York's son. He's like Dr. York's child. But anyway, listen to what I'm saying. When you look at the source for the DNA, right? There is no source. That is my bottom line point that I've been trying to make the whole damn night.
Let me get you right.
There is no source.
He made it up.
I'm saying that he made it up. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys, but you guys haven't been listening to me the whole night. But anyway, Sharif, I'll get your email and send you the information. And as a matter of fact, let's debate about that too. Let's put that as a topic in our debate.
Okay.
The Mexican DNA. Let's put that as a topic.
All right. So look. Me, you, and Brother Sharif, right?
Mm-hmm.
This midweek, we're gonna find a way where we can have a conversation so we can really, so there will be no nonsense. Where it's going, what we presented, you driving around, acting like nonchalant. Then you gonna say, oh, I was driving down on 127. We won't be able to do none of that. And we can have a real educated dialogue as relates. So we're gonna do that. What day are you free? Let's see now. Let's see if you can say now. I know you big time.
What do you want to do? Set a date for the debate or what? What do you want to do?
I want to arrange it. I got to try to arrange around Brother Sharif. See, Moorish Americans are constantly busy. So So we gotta work with you. We're gonna try to work with you. We busy.
No. Get a schedule from Sharif and I'll work with him. Because I mean, I remember I work for myself. So I don't know what his situation is. So I'm more free than.
You work with yourself. Moorish Americans been working for this. Well, I work for myself. What do you think Sharif work for?
I'm not gonna respond to that. I don't know Sharif like that. But I'll say that my schedule is probably well, if he works for himself, well, hey, I guess we both good then.
For himself, but he got a tight schedule though. But I will get with him and see what what works for him, and then I'll get with you. See, and we're gonna do it real nice. I'm actually gonna give you the format.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta concede a point that the brother made earlier. I was not trying to say that if I did try to, I don't try to mislead the audience. If I did say that or imply that the Portuguese never brought anybody at that time period he was talking about to the Americas, I would be incorrect. So I just want to make that clear. There were some small amounts of people that came directly at that time period to North America. I'm talking to North America, not to the Americas, to the North America.
Okay. Huh? Hey, brother Garfield. Oh, you talking right now. Anything you want to add, brother Sharif? Hey, brother, let me say this, brother Sharif. I'm gonna tell you this. Look, man, let me see. I want to tell everybody in the Moorish World audience who's watching tonight. We got 251 people up in here. We only got 75 thumbs up. You know, you may don't like Moorish, you may like Moorish, you may don't like Garfield, you may like Garfield. But everybody, let's give it a thumbs up so it can get in circulation in the algorithms. But let me tell you this. Never, ever hold back to big up your brother or big up your sister. And I got to big up brother Sharif, because I'm telling you, he is, for me, one of the most interesting debaters that I've ever seen. I mean, when he debates, go back and review this. When he debates, it doesn't even seem like a debate. He's actually teaching. And so this brother took his time out to give a presentation. Y'all might think it's a debate, but he's actually giving a presentation. And so, family, we need to support this. And so I yield the floor to my brother Sharif for taking the time out for this, because, man, this to me, I'm telling you, to me, it's a blessing to me to have my brother up here. So never, ever hold back from bigging up your brother or bigging up your sister. I big up you, bro. You are a superior debater, you know, because you're charismatic. You're very punctual, and you paint a picture that, like, I'm talking to Garfield, and that's my brother too. You know what I mean? That's my guy. You know, when I'm talking to him, I'm trying to see, like, Garfield, do you understand that he's talking about the DNA and not the person? He's talking about the presentation and not the person. And you made that clear, so I wanted to make that clear. Now, I'm hoping that everybody in the chat can get the clear presentation that you gave. Anything you want to add, brother Sharif?
Yeah, you know, I'm thankful for the opportunity at any time, you know, to present, to defend the teaching of Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the Moorish Science Symbol of America. I want it to be said, and those that are students of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and members of his organization know very well, or very familiar, or at least what I presented resonated with them, and I didn't have to come out of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Symbol of America. If you're vaguely familiar with the doctrines of the Moorish Science Symbol of America, then what I presented resonates with you. But that's the blessing, is that it's not just doctrine of dogma. It's in line not only with real science, real sociology, real history, it's in line with cutting edge sociology and history. The very reason why we are in the midst of an identity crisis in America, and America is in turmoil, is because real history was put to sleep. And it's got people thinking that they're crayons, and that a man-made ditch separates the Middle East from Africa, and that Arab is a race, and all this other foolishness. You see what I'm saying? And so one of the things that, you know, my leader, Brother R. Jones Bay, said, He said, you know, it's actually a blessing that there are a few of us with fezzes and turbans on. There are a few of us that understand this. Why? Because it's evidence that in the midst of chaos, the light of truth can still exist. That's what's important about this thing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just what it is. But, you know, so I enjoy the opportunity to be a soldier, and I enjoy the opportunity to serve. That's what this really is. It's not, you know, it's nothing crazy or wild. And I have the greatest amount of respect for my brother Garfield Reid. I definitely do. You know, any seeker for truth gets my respect. You know what I'm saying? Any seeker for truth gets my respect. You know, but truth, man, listen, truth is like experience. It's tough. You know, it gives the lesson, it gives the test before it gives the lesson. You know, that's what it does. You know, you can flip and bounce truth any old kind of way. You know, you just
all right. Can I say something real?
Yeah, we about to close out, Garfield. You got the floor. Take it away, brother.
Okay, I was gonna say that my brother has not proven the whole night, whether you want to agree with me or not, that the majority of the African Americans would be considered Moors. These are people who had their own cultures and they brought it over with them. Even the Muslims that came over, there's no remnant of those people who were followed Islam, who originally came over during whether the 19th century or the late 18th century. I would not say that. If you're a Moor, you're going to say that he won. If you're not a Moor, you're going to say Garfield won. But the truth of the matter is, you got to prove that all these people, and the problem is the wrong identity. We want to be connected with all type of different identities that don't have anything to do with us. We don't want to be initiates in African spirituality because we hate Africa. So the problem is not Garfield. The problem is we don't want truth. We want to be who we want to believe. When I said that we individually need to learn where we come from, the brother chastised me. You want to be an individualist? What? You want people to join your Moorish Science Temple because it's correct? Tell me something right now, family. Is the Moorish Science Temple right now of America the best organization to join? What are they producing since Noble Drew Ali? And I'm not knocking. Where's the greatness of Noble Drew Ali? Hold on, Taharka. Let me finish. You never interrupted, Sharif. You're getting emotional. You're getting emotional. Come on, brother. All I'm saying is, family, you are no better if you're a Moorish Science Temple member or if you're just a regular Joe. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when the police pull you over, and if you have a darker complexion, he don't care if you're a Muslim. He don't care if you're Aboriginal like my brother Ali Muhammad. He don't care if you are from Ghana, from the Akan tribe. He don't care if you're a Christian. He don't care if you're a Hebrew Israelite. He gonna shoot you if he's in that mood of that day. So no one could tell me that you being a Moor is protecting you because of some status. It is not. That is just not true, and it's false. What we need to do as a community or as a culture is we're going to come together. We come together and start our own state, buy an abandoned town, do something different, because what we're doing is not working. It doesn't matter which group you claim. It is not working. So to say that one way is better than the other, show and prove. What are you going to show me? You got going to show and prove. You're not going to show. You can't say Garfield's way is not better than the other way. But the bottom line to this, family, I'm telling you, if you want to know your roots, take a DNA test, go and trace your genealogy, check the history of how you got here on the ships that you came on, and check the anthropology, check all the evidence that you need to find out who you are individually. I don't believe in no labels, because labels can't help us. None. Because most of us here are in America. We're in a conundrum kind of, because it's either we're Africans trying to be Americans or Americans trying to be Africans. And that's the bottom line. That's the only fight that we're pretty much having as a civil war in our community right now, because everybody's trying to be something that what they're not. And most of us are. We just don't want to be African. That's all it is. We don't want to say, oh, I'm West African. They don't, oh, but Noble Drew Ali said we were West African. No, he said that you were Moors. And we all are not Moors. So Noble Drew Ali was not correct.
Well, okay, let me address that really quick. So I guess this thing is still going on. So here we go. First and foremost, the prophet did say that we are inhabitants of Africa. Notice this, he's very careful with the language. He said we're descendants of inhabitants of Africa. That's what he said. right? He said we're inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. That's what he said. So we're going to talk about the prophet, right? But he was very, very careful. He said inhabitants of Africa. He did not say Africans. You know why he didn't say Africans? Because it's a non-definition. Even in this present day, there are 54 nations on that continent. That is a continent. It is not an identity. So let's be very clear. That's not an identity. That's a continent. There are 54 nations on there, and each one of those 54 nations, man, the biodiversity of people in one of those nations rivals. I mean, there's no other country. There's no, matter of fact, let's just talk about the continent. There's no other continent on the planet that carries the level of biodiversity than the inhabitants. So, you know, the term saying nobody wants to be African, most of the people saying that can't define what an African is. The proper definition was much sharper. He said inhabitants of that continent. That's what he said. And there are many different ones. And the fact of the matter is, we speak of Africa like it's unified or once upon a time was unified. The continent was never unified because the biodiversity and the ethnic diversity is way, way, way too diverse. That has never happened. Let's not fantasize. Let's not romanticize Africa anymore. We are inhabitants of Africa, and the prophet always taught that. But those people are divided and subdivided into nations and tribes. It's just that simple. And that is the way people identify. And this is 2018. This is the way people identify. It's just that simple. So moving forward, it's the only way. You want to talk about people unifying and our people unifying. People, they throw that term around a lot. Oh, we got to unify. How? DNA? That means that I'm different from Brother Taharka. I'm different from Garfield. I'm different from Brother Ali Muhammad. I'm different from Brother Ishmael Bey. That's not a unification factor. You can't find one people on the planet that unify by DNA. Try again. You just can't. You can't. Now, the last thing I'll say is this. I mean, you can throw shots, and everybody wants to throw shots at the Moors, but here's the thing. I'm going to say it like my brother Nakeem Bey said it, right? Everybody wants to throw shots at the person doing something. Why? Because they're doing something. See, the prophet's solution was better than everybody's. You know why? Because he came up with something. I don't care if he said you're a green man from Mars. It's better than a non-definition. You ain't given one. You lost already. It's just that simple.
And I just want to respond.
Hold on, Tarka. Lost what? Lost what? What did we lose, my brother? I said that each individual has to find out who they are. They don't need people trying to get them join their organization. Joining an organization or following a religion is played out. It's done with. The new era of people trying to find out who they are instead of being slaves to a religion or a culture that's man-made is done with. I'm not for that. I'm a no labels guy because all these labels have done nothing. Where are you guys on reparations? Where are you guys on employing people? Dagger Squad is actually hiring Moors right now. We hiring Moors. You know how many Moors we hired? How many Moors you guys hired? Come on, man. We hiring people to be customer service representatives. Stop playing games, man. Stop playing. Tarka, stop, Tarka. Stop. He throwed his words. So let me throw my words too, brother. Let me throw my words too. Let me get my words out.
You know you can't ask
let me get my words out, bro. Let me get my words out. Let me get my words out. My position is each individual has to find out who they are. They don't need any prophet, so-called prophet, or anybody to tell us who we are. Nobody needs that. You need to find out who you are. That's like us following our grandmother. Her grandmother said, hey, you need to believe in the devil. So you gonna believe in the devil today? Come on, family. You need to find out who you are. You don't need nobody to tell you that. You don't need nobody to tell you that. So anybody wearing a fez, or not saying anybody that wearing a fez in that way, Taharka. I'm just saying anybody at all out there, you can't be right or can't be wrong. It's just that you got to find out who you are or what you represent. Simple as that. It's simple. It's not difficult. If everybody want to be a Moorish American, that's their business. All I'm saying is, will it stop the bullets? Will it stop the bullets if somebody's shooting me? That's all I want to know. Is there like a bulletproof fez or something to that effect that's going to stop the bullets? That's all I want to know.
Huh? Can you hear me? Yeah?
Oh, man. Something happened.
I'm here.
Something happened, Garfield. What you do, Garfield? Let me see if the people can hear. Hold up.
Allah messing with the connection, man. You say you don't want Garfield on here no more.
Hold up.
Can you hear me?
He went out. He done knocked everybody out. Brother Sharif, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
But I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. Hold up. Something happened. Uh-oh. I'll mute you. Garfield.
I'm here.
His is stuck on our volume right there.
What's up? What's up, family? Can you hear me?
I wanted to do a quick closing. Garfield panel is stuck on a green light.
Damn.
So
can you hear me, Taharka? Taharka, can you hear me?
Let me see something. Everybody can hear. Let me see if the people can hear me. Can everybody hear me? They can hear. Let me see. They can hear. So listen, anyway, real quick.
I'm here.
Oh, they can hear everybody. I just can't hear Brother Sharif.
Can you hear me?
Hold up, man. Okay, let me see. It might be me. Let me see. So go ahead, Sharif. Carry on for a minute. Let me see. It must be my speaker. I got this nice old setup here. Brother Sharif.
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Man, I can't hear nobody. Ah, man, they knocked us out.
Yeah.
Garfield knocked us out. And look, his is stuck on the green light on 3 dots. You see it?
Nah, I don't see it. I don't see
His
that.
green light stuck on 3 dots. I knew them people over there, brother, over there. I know what they did.
Can you hear me?
What, did somebody trying to jump in your hangout, bro?
Let me see. So look, so Ali Muhammad. Let me ask Ali Muhammad if he can hear me. Ali Muhammad, you want to see Lord Alva once again? Hold on, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come out and come in. Don't hang up, Brother Sharif. I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna come back in. All right, I'm back in. Let me see. Did you say something, Brother Sharif?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. They trying to get us out, bro. I don't know what happened, man. That brother was saying something that just dropped. Can you hear me, Garfield?
Yeah, I got you. I'm right here.
All right, cool. So what did I miss, bro? What did I miss?
You ain't missed nothing much. You ain't missed that much.
So Garfield. So you agree that we're going to do this. Would you like it this week or next week?
Yeah, let's first and foremost, let's agree on what we're gonna talk about in full detail first.
Okay, hold on.
So
the brother mentioned, you know, he mentioned the whole thing with Clyde Winters and the Clyde Winters paper. Let's add that to the list. That's okay. One. Let's add let's add the origins of the transatlantic slave trade to it as well.
Hold on, let me get a pen. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna stick this right on my wall.
Why add the origins of the transatlantic when we agree that the Portuguese were started the whole thing? No. Why would we debate that?
No. What I stated What I stated was that the origins of the transatlantic slave trade was a crusade against the Moors, and that the first African.
Woo! Okay, I got you. We could do that. We could do that. We could do that. We could do that.
See, again, brother, I don't think you were listening because I said I read from the sources. It was very clear.
All right.
Now, you see Ali Muhammad in the chat saying Garfield running. Am I running, Sharif? Am I running, brother?
Yeah, either that, I'm going to tell you, brother, to be very frank, either that or you just not listening well.
How am I running? Explain to me, Sharif. How am I running?
Notice what I said, brother. I said either that or you are not listening.
No. Either that or no. How am I running? Explain that part of the either.
I said, well, okay, here we go. Either you're not listening well. Hold on, let me explain. Either you're not listening well, which means either the fact is you're not listening well. Which means
okay, that's all you need to say, brother.
Bro,
that's all you need to say.
Can I finish? Either A, you are incapable of listening, or B, you are running, which means you are doing it on purpose. There you go.
Okay.
So first, are we debating the authenticity of Clive Winters, or
brother Stalker? Let's add this one. The true identity. Add it. The true identity of the original Arabs and Semites and their relationship to so-called African Americans. Add that.
The true identity of the Arabs and the Semites?
And their relationship to the so-called African Americans. Add it.
Oh boy, this Wesley Muhammad foolishness. Oh my God. All right, hey, you know what? It don't matter. Add it. It don't matter.
Hey, Garfield.
Because again, when you quote somebody, make sure you check their sources. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Garfield.
You listen tonight with Clyde Winters and you got beat up on that. Nobody's telling you, none of your Moors telling you got beat up yet. But you're going to see when we meet up next week. Come with Clyde Winters again.
Brother, I'm asking you, what is the debate about Clive Winters? Are we debating his
I'm debating his Mexican African American admixture. I'm saying it's total fabrication. It's garbage.
There we go. So we're gonna.
That's what I'm saying. It's total fabrication. It's garbage.
Okay, let's do it.
Because
you know what's gonna have to happen? Sharif gotta show you his source.
Okay. and look. Okay, but Garfield, if he's able to show you the source, now you're gonna have to man up and say, okay.
I am ready. Because I already know what the source is.
But you know what's funny?
Harker, I told you I debated Clyde Winters already on my timeline for over 3 weeks.
You know what's funny to me? This is how one of the American brothers told me. They told me, instead of saying let's debate, the brother said to me, you don't want to debate me because you don't know nothing about law. What kind of argument is that? Just debate me and see what I know. That's the silliest argument I've heard.
That's what I'm saying. Let him bring it up. You see, nobody is questioning Sharif from the Moorish side of why he would appeal to authority, even with Chancellor Williams. He agrees with Chancellor Williams because he said something positive about Moors, but he doesn't agree with anything else. That's not scholarship. That is not scholarship. That's like me using. Hold on. That's like me using Noble Drew Ali. No, that's like me using Noble Drew Ali. I don't agree with not one word Noble Drew Ali says, but I'm gonna use one thing that he said that I might be able to twist his words to make it seem good to win a debate.
What was Chancellor Williams? Chancellor Williams. What was he? What was his official titles in life? Professional.
What do you mean? As far as what?
Professionally.
I don't know. I know he was a writer. That's all I know. I don't know nothing else. I don't know if he was a teacher or whatever. I don't know what he did. I know he wrote books.
Brother. He is a source. He's
no. I deal with primary source. That's why I use Leo. Hold on. That's why I use Leo Africanus. to tell you what a Moor is, because in his time period, he's telling you with a primary, he's there telling you what a Moor is. That's why I used him. That's why I used the primary source. I don't use Chancellor Williams because Chancellor Williams got it from somebody else. I can't use Clyde Winters because he's not a geneticist.
Yeah.
He's not a linguist and he's not a geneticist, but yet still he has all these arguments for this genetic work and all these linguistic works. You got to know who you're using.
Strabo was also, if we're going to use
yes, Strabo did talk about the Moori. Yes,
come on, man.
Yes,
I didn't cut you off. Strabo, to use your strict definition of a primary source, Strabo was a primary source. Strabo in the 1st century, when he encountered the Maori people, said that that's what they called themselves.
That's right.
Now the Maori people in Northwest Africa, nobody's disputing Mauritania and the root of the word.
But
nobody has disputed that. But Maori at that time period don't mean the same as it meant when the listen. You guys don't listen at all. This guy's saying that I don't listen to him. He don't listen at all. At different time period, Moor meant different things. How many times did I say that?
Well, that's just like somebody saying that the N-word is a term of endearment now.
No, that's not what we're saying. The Moor, they even call white people Moors. It was a negative connotation towards white people at one point.
Bro, they call white people. What does that mean?
Oh, you're gonna go into this? What's white people and what black people and status now? You gonna play that Moorish crazy game? You're not a crazy Moor, bro.
Listen, no. I'm saying if we're using your measuring stick about they said, and they did this at this time, and they did that, they continue to do that. But that doesn't mean that that's the origin or the definition of what it is.
My brother, Mori, the term Mori or Morus is used at a time period, different time periods. The Moor in 8th century AD is different than the Mori that they were Strabo and them was talking about. Is not the same.
No, it's not.
It is not. You're saying it's the same? Oh, you saying it's the same?
Add it to the list, bro.
Yes. Hey, bro. Hey, Garfield. That would be
yes,
just
sir.
like the sister Dana Marnici that we like the source. Moors love the sorcerer. She's not a Moorish American, but we love the sorcerer. That was just like when she first enlightened me on the Berber and the Berry people. I was taken aback. I always thought the Berber meant a barbarian. And when she said that it derived out of the Berry people, I was like, whoa. And the point that I'm making is, just because the European takes something and flip it and turn it on us doesn't mean that we can't find the connection and show what it authentically means.
It has nothing to do with the other. One has nothing to do with the other. I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with the other.
But you're saying that Maori and Moor today is different. That doesn't make sense.
No. I'm saying Mori. No. I'm saying Mori in the 8th century AD and Mori in 3rd century AD is two different. It's used in two different ways. Moor had a lot more. Hold on. Listen, white folks used it. But hold on a second. What is Strabo? What is Strabo?
Strabo is a Greek.
All right, show me a more. All right, show me a more. Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all how y'all are hypocrites. Show me a black Moor. Hold on. Show me a black man writing in the 3rd century AD. Show me a writing right now while we're live that said that, hey, I'm a Moor. Show me a black man that said that.
Hold on. I'm gonna do him one better, right? He thinks because Strabo recorded what the people called themselves, that Strabo identified or named them. No.
I never said that, Sharif. Stop trying to flip what I said. I never said that. Don't do that, brother. I said, show me, do you have an author? Do you have an author?
Here's the
yes
fact.
or no? Is he Taharka? A simple question.
Strabo.
Simple question.
Strabo identified the fact, or Strabo verified the fact that these people called themselves Moors. There you go.
And Garfield, and you know you're being disingenuous because you know our people normally did things in secrecy, oral tradition, and
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. They have writings by people from North Africans. What are you talking about?
Listen.
We're not talking about West Africa. We're talking about North Africa, brother.
I said most of our people traditionally
And
orally.
Okay. But you know how y'all kill yourselves? Because Mauri's from Mauritania is from Mauri, right? And that's where the people are from, right? So how did all these West Africans that they took over here, how did all those people become Mauri? So nobody was living in West Africa? Nobody was living in West Africa. All these people was just, and by the way, we got to put Moabite on the table. We never talked about Moabite or Moab. There's no such thing as a Moabite anyway, but Moab, we didn't talk about Moab.
I like when Garfield say that. He's so confident in that one, bro.
Like, come on, man. We need to talk about Moab. We need to talk about Moab. We need to talk. Listen, every topic. Listen, family. We're gonna set a date, and we're gonna set a time, and we're gonna do this right.
Right, I got you.
3 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours.
See, because you're doing a lot of. Here's the thing, and the audience can see it. This dude did 2 hours of saber rattling, and never went past Wikipedia. Like, come on, bro. Let's add that too. Add Moabite to it.
All I showed was more, the definition of more. And I had the actual primary sources. Did I show what's his name book? Did I show the guy Leo Africanus' actual writing? Did I show that? Yes or no? Did I show from his book? Yes or no? Yes or no? Because you just lied. You can't even have a consistent conversation with you guys without y'all lying.
No, bro, I didn't say nothing, bro. I'm reading the comments.
The dude said I was on Wikipedia the whole time. Come on, man. I showed books.
What the hell? All right, bro. All right.
Hey, Garfield. Hey, we're gonna leave you alone, bro. Because was I good moderator today, Garfield?
You horrible, man. You horrible.
No, after you said the debate is over, we having a conversation. I can't conversate with my brother, Garfield. I want to fix my credit, Garfield. How about that?
Not going. He doesn't want to know. All right, nobody to know.
Garfield.
Is he gonna sit and talk for 5 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. What are you saying, brother? The brother said all I did was go on Wikipedia, and then you have these lazy ass people in the chat talking about, yes, Garfield was on Wikipedia. Yeah, for the term more. I had it, but I had the sources, and that's what I did. I showed the source of Leo Africanus. I showed also, hold on, I also showed Richard Fleiser's book. I have all the books with the sources. But the point that I'm trying to make, why Leo Africanus is very important, because he is a primary source. A primary source. Sharif never showed any primary sources today. He showed what somebody else said. I'm telling you from Leo Africanus' mouth, when he actually went into the places and met the people and came up with a conclusion based on the information. So when he says more is used for certain things, he's basing it off the environment and the world of what he is. Because right now, a lot of African sources come from Leo Africanus. It comes from him in the 1500s. So for us to now play this game, like Garfield used Wikipedia, you ain't no good, Garfield. You can't debate me. So if Garfield is not worthy of debate, why you want to further debate me then? I'm not worthy, brother. Why bother want to debate me? The point of the matter is, I beat you up on the Clyde Winters issue. I beat you up on the fact that you're calling on Chancellor Wisdom trying to appeal to authority. I beat you up on the fact that the Portuguese, you said that the Portuguese did this, but you left out Adahu the Moor on purpose because you caught up in a name. This is what's wrong with your belief. You're caught up in a name more. I'm not caught up in the name more. I don't believe in the nonsense. So I'm not caught up with the name. I am speaking freely. Garfield is a free man. I'm not obligated. I'm not a slave to a religion. I'm not a slave to no organization. I'm free. So I'm saying to everybody out there, free yourself from this craziness, from this prison. Because if this man is going to debate me and try to hide the fact that Adahu the Moor played a major role in the slave trade with the Portuguese, and leaving that out is very extremely important, because guess what? His name is Adahu the Moor. So I don't want to give Moor a bad name, because that's who I rock with. We can't do that. That means he's not a genuine guy. He's not genuine. So now, ladies and gentlemen, look at all the information that Sharif presented. he presented information about Mexico, right? Which was kind of funny, but I didn't even get to rebut that. I'll rebut that when we're in the next conversation because that was extremely funny. Why did they think that black people or people would fight them or Moors was here and there? Hold on. Anybody ever heard of Esteban de Moor? What did Esteban de Moor do? He knows so much. Tell us the history of Esteban de Moor and where he went. So what is this, all this confusion like black people never came to North America? Nobody came here? Nobody said that. Nobody said Moors weren't on ships. Nobody said that. Nobody said none of that. All we're saying is that the people that came over here from West Africa, they are West Africans. They're not Moors, period. So why is it if there were Moors, show me them practicing the Moorish science? They wasn't practicing the Moorish science? Come on, family. They weren't practicing the Moorish science? Show me them practicing the Moorish science when they came over on the slave ships. These people are crazy. Come on, family. Come on. You see, we can't. No, I'm not mad. I'm shouting because of the headset I'm on. I got the headsets on. So it might sound like I'm not mad. I'm far from being mad. All I'm saying is this. If we use a source, how is it that my source is not good, but Sharif's source, which is all messy, nobody's even checking him on it. He never even read that Clyde Winters whole report. I guarantee he never read it. But he ready to use it to try to debunk somebody without reading. He never knew that Garfield knew Clyde Winters. He got the shock of his life. Now he got to go home tonight and read on like, damn, I got to go find this source. Yes, and we're going to see next week that it was a fraudulent source. That's what we're going to see. And if it's a fraudulent source, who is the person that brought it to the community? Is he a fraud too? Go ahead, man. Let me get out of here, man. Y'all have a good night. And Tahark, I love you, Sharif Bey. You're still my brother. No matter what you believe or what you stand on, you are my brother. If I saw the police beat you up, I would laugh first, then I would help you. All right? But anyway, family, have a good evening, man. This is your brother Garfield, man. I love y'all, man. Peace.
Hey, family, and that's what that reminded me of. Peace to my brother Garfield. I can't wait till we really sit down where he has all of his facts laid out, because if I was him, I would just say, well, listen, okay, I'm not prepared today. But when I come back, we're going to really address this. I just don't think the brother was prepared.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
You know, once again, you know, and we said it at the very onset. You know, these dudes, they pride themselves. See, here's the thing: win, lose, or draw, you gotta respect members of, you know, those that follow Prophet Drew Ali or claim to follow Prophet Drew Ali for standing there and being brave enough to allow themselves to be a target. These dudes is like Ricochet Rabbit. You try to nail them that. Well, what do you believe in? Well, what is your position? Man, these dudes start bouncing around and iffing and hemming and hawing and scratching wherever it don't itch, because this is why they're shrewd enough to understand that if they stand in one place and stand on something, then it could be vetted, and that's what scares them. You see what I'm saying? It scares them. You know, so he spent the majority of his time raising his voice and trying to poke shots and create doubt about the Moorish ideal, instead of saying where he stood. And when he finally was, whenever he was nailed down to say where he stood, it was, oh, it's a generality. We're just Africans. And not one of y'all, I dare you to get a passport and travel over there to any one of those 54 countries and say, well, hey, I'm home because I'm in Africa. Try it.
Brother, we're going to be talking this week so we can do this again. I want, you know, I actually like Garfield. I see him back a lot of people down. I know you can't back no bona fide Moor down. And when I mean bona fide, one that has, and Brother Sharif, and I give you the props. Like I said, I big up my brother. You call it what you want. I big up my brother. You know what I mean? It's hard to back down a Moor that's been outside the temple, dedicated himself outside and in the temple. See, I always been a part of a temple at some sort of time. Brother Sharif he dedicated his life outside to the ideal he thought was the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's way, and then he dedicated himself inside. You know, that's like that's two polar opposites. And dedicated himself. It's hard to beat somebody like that. It's just hard.
You know, the other thing too, he tried to imply that he got ambushed. Like, oh, well, I came, suited and booted and ready to go, and I had all this research, and I'm ready for a full-on debate. And he's just saying, come on, knock that off, man. Knock that off. But I tell you what, if he wants to do it that way as he says he does, then that's a totally different animal. As you all saw, April 10th, 2016. It's a totally different animal. This was, I promise you, I literally, like, I just have books sitting on my couch. You know what I'm saying? That's literally how I came to this thing. I got books sitting on the couch.
Bro, and see, what a lot of people don't know about me, like I get a real kick off this because my elders are bona fide researchers. You know what I mean? And I've argued with them. Now you know how I am, bro. I've argued with them. So, but when facts hit you, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I don't understand why our people don't just concede and say, okay. And I advised everybody, before you battle or go into an intellectual contest with a Moor, make a friend with a Moorish American first. Try to understand the Moorish concept. You will probably have a better chance. But most people get all of this internet information, think it's legitimate, and think that's going to save them in a debate against a Moor. Man, make a Moorish American your friend first. And get the Moorish ideal in the true sense. See, because I'm hooping and hollering, that ain't the Moorish way for real. Moors are intellectuals.
Let me tell you. Let me add this too. Again, the brother. He's on one end. He says, "Well, I don't want to disrespect Noble Drew Ali," and then turns around and says, "Well, Noble Drew Ali didn't do nothing, right?"
And he lied.
Well, it's okay. No, it's okay because when you don't know, you don't know. I'm not going to get mad at another man's innocent ignorance. I just identify it for what it is. How did the Prophet tell us to do? It's a part of wisdom to do what? Listen to his with patience and pity his absurdity.
There you go.
If you don't know, he just doesn't know. But here's the one thing he did. I don't care if you don't agree with the doctrine. Here's the one thing that he did that individual DNA research won't do. Prophet Noble Drew Ali organized people. And if listen, anybody who does not, especially if you're from the street, you're from the hood, if you don't understand what organization means, then you was on the porch all your life. You never left the porch. That's just the truth. Because if you stepped off that porch, you ain't make it around the block without being clicked up, my man. So you say what you want. Organization's where it's at. And nationality is about organization. That's what it is. So, you don't know. You don't know.
Well, we're going to be setting this up. I'm going to call Garfield tomorrow. I want to thank Brother Garfield again because actually behind the scenes, that brother is my friend. You know what I'm saying? We have never had, I watched him come at some brothers and go crazy, but me and him have never had any conflict like that. And so I hope we continue to have a good friendship. And as I told him on the phone today, we got to get to the place. We have to get to the place where we can have disagreements and different information and we walk away, shake hands for real. Not getting like that other platform where that circus where people want to kill each other, cuss each other out, call people mama this and mama that. And that old net, man, they ruined a good thing over there. But over here, we're going to do it with integrity. So I appreciate my brother Garfield because Garfield can get a real foul mouth sometimes. But he was strong tonight because he took a beating like a man. You was bad, Garfield. You took the beating and you didn't use bad. No, I'm playing Garfield. But we're going to set that up for the people. I appreciate you. Anything in closing, Brother Sharif?
No, like I said, it's an honor to be able to defend our Prophet, And again, and what I mean by defend him, not like he really needs defending. This organization's been around since 1913. It's been around before Black Power movement. It's been around before Pan-Africanism. And guess what? It's still here.
Yes, sir.
Figure that out. It's still here. So, say what you want. So, but what I mean by it's an honor to defend it, it's an honor to be able to strive to live up, to play catch up to what the prophet did in 1913. You know, so that it's a way for me to show my gratitude. I'll just put it like that. You know, we don't do this. We don't do this for the likes. You know, we raise our children by this. You know what I'm saying? We employ our own people by this. You know what I'm saying? We get money like this to uplift the community. That's what we do.
Hey, bro, you know what was funny to me when he said, "Who y'all employ?" I said, "Hold up, do you know who he's talking to?" Like he's talking to me and you. Like everybody in the Moorish community know something about me and something about you. Like, that's I mean, come on, God. That was really reaching at that point. Like, come on, man, cut it out, man.
You'll be all right. You'll be all
But
right.
so we're gonna do this again. I want to thank you again, brother Sharif. I want to thank my brother Tunica. He ain't even here, but when I see you, I see him. My brother Monty McCoy.
Yes, sir.
And you know, hey, bro, sometimes I pick up the phone and I just be like, Islam, bro. They be like, Islam. I be like, yeah, I just felt like Islam today. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to Ali's man and everybody.
Let me say this too. Is that what you just said, brother? You know, that is that sentiment, man. Is that feeling that this organization gives and that this movement gives? Because the movement is larger than the organization. The organization generates the movement. And it's that feeling that gives us strength to toil. When I know my brother I can call my brother and get a kind word. See, DNA won't do that for me.
Yeah. How about that?
They won't do that for me. But my brother.
Hey, bro. Hey, brother Sharif. But we about to close up. But we got Doggy Diamonds in the building. Bro, I'm a fan of Doggy Diamonds TV, bro. We got the good topics, and he keep it 100.
Tell Doggy, tell Doggy that Taj Mahal, said peace. That's my brother. Tell him Taj Smith said peace. We want to get on the show.
He in the chat, man. I'm telling you, man. Man, he one of them platforms, man. I would encourage everybody. If you in the hip hop like me, man, go to Doggy Diamonds, man. He giving you the real topics. Them other joints be corny. I'm telling you, I be trying to check them out, but they be corny, man. I can't get with it, man. I'm hip hop to the bone. Like I'm from hey, brother Sharif. I'm from an era, right? Whereas though when I was young. Because I'm from Maryland, we close to the water, so we like fishing. So I used to go with my headphones on with like KRS-One. You know what I mean? Everybody else was into the new pop thing or the latest Run DMC. I was into like Coogee Rap. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, when I want my real hip hop, you know what I mean, on YouTube, I'm straight Doggy Diamonds TV 100. It is what it is. Peace and love. But family, we be back real soon. I don't know. I'm trying to get my brother, Lord Abba on here against Ali Muhammad. That's what I want to see. Lord Abba against Ali Muhammad. You know, I think that'd be a good rerun. You know what I mean? A good, respectable rerun.
I want to say to my brother Way Ill, aka Lord Abba, down in Athens, Georgia.
Hey, listen, brother Sharif, I be trying to tell Lord Abba, right, that I don't have no feud with him. I'm the Prophet Overdue Ali says, I favor the Moors. I favor the Moors.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. But now, if I would throw a little slick shot, you know Tahaka Bay gonna throw 2 of them. You know I am. So let's stop it. Every time you throw a little slick layup, I'm like, here it comes. Boom, I'm gonna put it on the backboard. And then I'm gonna wait for you throw one. But it ain't that serious. I love you, Lord Abba. I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I look forward to working with you. We're going to work together, bro, because I respect your scholarship. I want to take you to a back room and teach you some delivery, but I love your scholarship. I'm just playing now. See how I take a shot? But peace and love, family. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank you, brother Sharif, and thank everybody in the chat for joining me. We'll be back soon. Everybody thumbs up. Ali Muhammad said, nah, bro, I'm good. All right, peace and love, family. I got to go. Children got to go to school tomorrow. Morals are responsible. We upright, independent, and fearless, and responsible. Peace and love. Thank you, brother Sharif.
Yes, sir. Peace.